What up, people? How we doing? Happy Monday. Hello, hi, how's it going? Check, check, check. Hi, hello. Wee, boom. Did we do it? There we go. What up, guys, gals, everybody else? How we doing today? What's happening? Hi. My name's Corey Adam, and welcome to TwitchTok. We are here. We have done it. We are back for another fucking week of fucking Twitch Talk. Hi. Producer Mikey's here. We can start, okay? Sister Mine has presents, I guess. Anomaly Forever says Santa. It's all pretty good. All of it. What's up, guys? Yeah, Mikey, yep. Sup, do this shit. Yeah, we will. We are going to do this shit, bro. What do we want to do? So, I picked up a bunch of stuff on the VPN stuff, because I kept promising you guys we would talk about VPN. Oh, shit. What up, Rusty Grammar? Yeah, no, I did like your talking mask cow picture. That was it was horrific, actually. I like it. I like the kind of shit that I'll never be able to unsee. It's kind of my favorite. Shout out to Rusty Grammar for subscribing for their 4th month. Thank you so much. I guess I can say his because I know him, but whatever. Fucking whatever. Yeah, head over to the donation thing. I forgot to set up the new donation thing, but whoa, hype train already? Hype train incoming. Okay. I guess we're doing that right away, huh? That's pretty fun. We're already at 69% of level 1. Gotta love that. We got a really weird one for you today. We're gonna do some education stuff on VPNs. We're gonna talk a little Trump, talk a little bit of all that. I didn't watch all the show today. Did they talk about the racism and cancer today? Minneapolis is now saying that racism causes cancer, which, man, it's just getting out of control. And I mean, I love Minneapolis, I love Minnesota, but man, it's fucking garbage. NordVPN is what I love. NordVPN. That's actually what we're gonna talk a lot about Nord today. Here's some coal for the choo-choo fire. Yeah, woo, fuck yeah. Here, I better get my sound effects rolling, right? This one's for Mikey Two Milks, who hates this.
Oh shit! Excuse me, bitch!
We're at 75% of this hype train. Let's go. Get it. Hype it up. Get hyper. Yeah, it's ridiculous. Like, it's this whole thing, man. I don't know. I don't know where you keep just thinking shit is not going to end up getting worse. Let's see if I can find it. Coronavirus. Hell yeah. Oh, you fixed your chair? That's nice. Nice. What up, Ellie? How are you? Welcome. We're in the middle of a hype train. Trader Joe's is being called out for racist food packaging. Is that true? Give me a link. We're on level 2 now. That's pretty great. Where's the cancer shit? I don't know. I don't know if this is like real though. Like this here, we'll pop this over here for you. The Minneapolis City Council declares racism a public health emergency. No, it's not that. It's the cancer one. Yeah, right here. Minneapolis City Council, racism causes cancer. And I will copy that. I'll throw that over on the show page. Yeah, I mean, like, so racism is like cancer causing now, man. So don't be racist or you cause cancer. Pretty great. They declared it a public health emergency that causes cancer and heart disease, according to the city council. The council officially declared racism a health emergency in their city via resolution passed July 17th. the Progressive Council and the Democrat Mayor, Jacob Fry. Wait, hold on. Jacob Fry. Yeah, city councils are now medical experts, right? And that's part of what is so fucked up about this. Like, not all of it, but I mean that is a large part of it. But the reality is, like, this is getting nuts, man. Like, this is about to get absolutely ham sandwich for everybody. Why do I look so weird in that light? I gotta fix that light a little bit. Ooh, that's nice. Oh, that's all right. See, that up just a little bit. Ooh, that's nice right there. They would have got their point across if they said racism is like cancer. Yeah, like if they said racism was a cancer, sure. Elliot May says, weird. My grandpa was one of the most racist people I ever knew. He didn't get cancer. Maybe they mean it gives other people cancer? Who the hell knows? Yeah, it's not a social cancer. That's what I thought when I first found out about this. I thought, oh, okay, they're talking about a social cancer. But they literally say in this article, and they said in their statement, that it's a health emergency that causes cancer and heart disease. It's not like they're saying it's a figurative heart disease. That's not how it works. It's fucking crazy, though. We got a minute and 50 seconds left on level 2 of this hype train. Come on, let's get to level 3. We're at 33%. We got this. Let's roll. Whee! Wait, it shows they can literally just make shit up. That's automatic gospel. Yeah, I mean, I think anybody that's been following anything they did knew. I mean, like, that's just kind of how it is, right? But so, racism in all its forms, persistent discrimination, and desperate outcomes in many areas of life. The resolution reads, it claims that racism causes cancer, coronary heart disease, diabetes, hypertension, high infant and maternal mortality rates, demonstrating that racism is the root cause of social detriments of health. So, the way somebody thinks is now the number one thing. We're at 44%, 56 seconds, under a minute. We're probably not going to make this one, but you know what? We tried. Voted into office and get your PhD for free. Yeah, put your hand on this Bible and we will give you a doctorate. Yeah, it's so crazy to me. Like, again, like, we can... Not being racist is good. That's a good thing that we should all try to do. I get that. But, like, don't just make shit up. Like, it causes heart disease? No, it does not cause heart disease. That's insane. The resolution also seems to accuse America of being racist for 500 years. Being anti-racist means moving and speaking in ways that repair, not simply abandon more than 500 years of racist policies. Oh, shit. Oh, at the last minute. Batman Trouble getting us there. Look at that. That's awesome. Oh, that was great. Get it, Batman Trouble. About a bunch of shit for 2 minutes. That's fine, man. I don't worry about it. You good? Don't worry about it, man. Wait, I'm a diabetic and I have heart disease. Here I thought it was from having the flesh-eating disease. Wait, you had flesh-eating disease? That's crazy. It's probably also because you're racist. You had flesh-eating disease? Gross. That's fucking cool. Ellie Mae is more badass than I could have ever thought. She had flesh-eating disease. That's amazing. Yeah. Where was it? Boom. Thank you. Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. This thing, you know what? I'm actually going to post this in the room just because, like, we got to, I mean, this is crazy. I usually don't do this. If you want to get the show links, and I'm probably not going to do this much more, go over to the, oh, not the donate. I mean, you can donate too, but go over to the Discord, hop into the show channel. Might as well go info. Might as well go Venmo. Go to these places to donate. For right now, though, keep them bits coming. We're 5% into a level 3 hype train. We got 3 minutes and 40 seconds left. Keep it coming. Oh, there we go. Audrey Lane with some puppy bits like that. Doctor walks in. Sorry, looks like stage 4 racism. Yeah, that's right. Could you turn your head and cough and judge this other minority, please? Just as I suspected, you're a racist. I want a second opinion. No, you racist. Oh, yeah, this is the other part about this, too. The resolution was authored by Andrea Jenkins and Felipe Cunningham, both of whom are one of the 3 council members who used taxpayer-funded private security at the council's attempt to disband the police. Racism is an underlying disease of all racially inadequate results we are living with today, and we have to name them if we are to heal it. The actions are the first step in a long overdue restorative measure for our BIPOC community, says council member Felipe Cunningham, per the announcement. So, yeah, it's fucking, this is crazy. And it's I think the problem that I have with shit like this is just that, like, it makes it hard, you know? Rusty Grammar for 10K badge bits. That's rad. Thanks, Rusty. Bulls Deep. It's pretty good. Going to show you a photo of this mixed race family, and you tell me your first thoughts. Yeah, right? Could you turn your head and say the N-word? Okay, you're racist. It's just Minneapolis council members, only people dumber than New York and California congressmen. Yeah, maybe. I mean, definitely seems like that after this shit, right? It's fucking crazy. But it's not like, yeah, it's just, it's super dumb. But I think the thing that makes me maddest about it is that, Mom, the doctor said I have prostate racism. That's right. Mom, my butthole hates yellow people. What do I do? Like, is there a cure? Like, that's the other thing, too. Is there a cure for it, then? I mean, I'm all for helping people out, man. We got it. Like, I get it. There's systemic racial things going on in our society that we want to fix. That's fine. But don't start fucking making shit up. Oh, causes cancer. Oh, it's diabetes. Oh, that's weird. Because I thought, like, cancer was cells within our body. It's weird that anything medical cell-wise could be just like, oh, okay. Now we understand. Now we want that. It's fucking weird.
Hate cancer is my new favorite form of cancer.
Oh, what is that, Tovar? Yeah. How's your camping trip?
It was very bad. It was very bad. It was a hiking campsite, so it
Audrey,
was.
I was asking about something on Friday, and Audrey had said you had gone camping, and I like with the weather report, I was like, ooh. And then she told me that it was like a family outing, and I'm like, he is not going to enjoy that.
So it was a mile-in hike on like very, very. It was in Afton Park, so it was like extremely hilly. And then Saturday night. Where is
Afton Park?
It's right on the St. Croix River.
Hey, guys, hold on a second. We got 20 seconds to hit level 4. Do everything you can. Go, go, go. 17, 16, 15. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, so it's right off the St. Croix River over by Hastings. It's like 35 minutes away from us. It's a beautiful place. But Saturday night, we're all sitting in our tent trying to wait out a rainstorm, and a tornado warning went off. And so I had to get 5 very frightened kids, my brother and I, the fuck out of there.
Why were they frightened? Oh, because of the storms?
No, the tornado warning, dude. We got a tornado warning on my phone. Yeah, I had not a watch, a warning. There was a tornado in the area, and we were in tents.
Do you know if that tornado was racist?
Yeah, well, it definitely had cancer, so.
What do you like? This is getting nuts, right? Like,
it is nuts.
It's like at first, you know, when you and I, because I remember you and I talking about some of this shit, not this specifically, but just like, man, this is gonna get absolutely insane.
Sideways. Yeah.
And sideways if they don't do anything to like control it or get things in order with this. But like, I mean, this is the sign right here. I mean, like,
I don't think that holding hate in your heart is healthy for you, but I don't think it has direct medical repercussions. Like maybe over time, maybe if you're like a racist piece of shit for 80 years, yeah, maybe.
But that's what I'm saying is if you want to tell me, if you want to tell me that the stress involved, but they're saying like racism causes it. Like they're not even saying that like the people who are doing it, it's the victims.
Yeah,
so right. So hate in your heart makes you healthy. That's what they're literally saying, that hatred makes you healthy.
So it's not. So they're saying that the people being racist are the healthier ones than the people having race put against them, right?
Correct. Yes.
I mean, the only way I can see that is if they were actively putting chemicals in that area that would give people cancer, which I guess there are some articles of that happening. But
Why don't
or
they?
some
Why don't they
instances of
just
that happening.
establish? Why don't they just establish some classes to get coronavirus some tolerance, and then we're fine, right?
Dude, that's what we need. We just need Corona classes.
Corona classes. Corona classes. It's
What
just
class
like,
are you? I'm
what?
Corona middle class.
Yeah, I'm Corona upper class. Look at all this money I cough up. Ah! It just like, it just always reminds me of the old, the road to hell is paved with good intentions, you know? Like,
Always, man.
it's not like, I understand these people like are trying to help or whatever, but like, you're not going to help stuff if you just make shit up. Like, that's not, because this is what happens. This is what happens. Like, this is, you know what this is? This is literally global warming all over again. That's what this is.
Yeah.
Whereas like global warming was climate change, and climate change was a very real issue, but instead they made
As
it
someone
something
who went
that
camping this weekend, I would have to agree. Late summer tornadoes are not a regular occurrence.
I mean, get ready because they are.
Yeah, I know.
But my point is like, I forgot what my point is. I just lost it. I'm so mad about this. Like,
well, the correlation between like this global warming thing that they were like,
yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. No, so like when they first wanted to press global warming, like Al Gore's Inconvenient Truth and all that, right? They pressed it, and they didn't really care about the facts. And so what happens is when you push something and you don't care about the facts, the moment somebody can prove what you're saying false, they will never believe you again.
Yeah.
And so, like, if you're trying to affect racism, if you're trying to get rid of it, you cannot just start making shit up. That's not going to fix anything.
No. Well, yeah, exactly. Also, like, you think the people that hate people are going to stop being racist because they think it's going to give the person they're being racist against cancer?
Right,
it's going to encourage them to be more racist.
Right. That's exactly. It's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
No Diggity said I had a photo 5 years ago on my Facebook with a full horizon of lightning. So I don't think this storm this time of year are that crazy.
Sure, lightning, right, but not tornado weather. Like the thing is like tornadoes happen in early spring and like sometimes fall. They don't happen in the middle of summer. That's not a thing that's usually supposed to happen. The heat is supposed to take over here, and there isn't supposed to be that big of a temperature variation to be able to cause that kind of weather. Like I get electrical storms, sure. But like mid and late season tornadoes aren't really a thing that's supposed to happen here.
King Kong Dong says more Klan meetings will happen with this new racism report. You're right. It's like you're incentivizing people to be racist. Like if you're telling people, hey, you know how you hate these people based on their skin? It's also giving them cancer. So just don't do it, guys.
Yeah,
cool.
Don't do it. I don't understand that at all.
Like okay, also, this is another thing that I've been fucking just absolutely apeshit insane about lately is like, can we also just all agree that maybe people need to start staying in their lane when it comes to like medical advice? I mean, did coronavirus not teach anyone anything?
Yeah. Like listening to Trump give medical advice, maybe people in politics should shut the fuck up.
Right. Agreed. 100% agreed. Like it's I don't know. I don't know what the answers are. I don't really care. It just
the answer is bullets, man. The answer is bullets.
But are they racist bullets?
Well, they'll definitely give you cancer.
Okay.
Bullet cancer.
I mean, that's a start. Yeah, bullet cancer is my favorite form of cancer. I like to take my bullet cancer and inject it in somebody's prostate to give them prostate bullet cancer.
Dude, speaking of prostates, have you heard?
Oh, I don't want to know this. I don't want to know this. I don't know what the tangent is.
Have you heard one of the latest side effects of COVID?
No.
It makes your dick smaller, bro.
Good.
Because it's a cardiovascular.
I can contract a bunch of COVID and be fine then. We're cool.
Yeah, I cannot.
I'm not going to tell everybody how big my dick is. Really big. But I'm not really worried about it. That's all. Did you hear the fucking, did you hear the, like, STD thing, too?
No, I've been camping.
So on Thursday, this happened before you left, they're saying that, COVID might also be caused through sex. Like, it might be transferable through sex.
Of course it is. You're exchanging bodily fluids. What the fuck?
Right. It doesn't live on surface, but it does live on my dick snot.
Hey guys, if you put your eyeball on a penis, you might get COVID.
Yeah. Really? JJ's Blood Alcohol says, Corey, can you turn your mic up? I think it's fine. I think I'm too loud, actually. I keep peeking. I'll see
You're
what I can
super loud. Yeah,
That's
you're
what
super
I thought,
loud.
right. This is what I hate is because, like, people will tell me, oh, can you do this and turn this up? And then I do it, and it ruins it for everybody else that was having fun, and, like, it was fine.
It's just a system problem for him.
Yeah, right. Agreed. So, good. But you hear me fine, yeah? Tovar is 2 times louder. Yeah, that's probably true. I could turn Tovar down a little bit.
Yeah, you could
to
probably
match
turn
it.
me down.
Yeah.
I get boisterous for
There.
sure.
How about that? That'll work. Yeah. Ellie Mae says volume's good there. Well, I know. Ellie Mae says, so are we suing Trump for racism and giving America cancer? Yeah, that's going to be the next step. Look, I didn't give you cancer, but if I did, I hate you because you're black.
This has to be a re-election strategy for him, right? Just give half the country hateful cancer.
It's not him, though. It's the Dems, man. That's what's crazy. Like, this was the council, the Democratic Minneapolis Council that was trying to disband the police. That's who did this. And, like, none of them are medical experts. You can't, like, and the list of stuff they said, I mean, it wasn't even cancer. It's everything. Everything that's going wrong with society is, like, health-wise is cancer, or is racism. This is, where is it? Here, I'll read it to you. I don't know if you heard earlier, but, like, where's the fucking list?
I was on Facebook. I've seen this.
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, it was all over the place. Yeah, okay. Cancer, coronary heart disease, diabetes, hypertension, high infant and maternity mortality rates, all demonstrating that racism is the root cause and social determinants of health. That's not true. That's not true, and it's provably false because that's not how medicine works. You don't, like, start to have a heart attack and your heart's like, God, I wonder how this people feels about the people around him. Is he judging them by the color of their skin? Oh, he is? All right, we're fine.
Or infant mortality rates. Like this thing that has no idea what's going on. It's so young that it just is like trying to figure out what its environment is. But oh no, racism can kill it.
Well, and like, here's the other thing too. If this is what you wanted to say, if this is what you were trying to get across, you could have just said stress. Like hypertension, I believe that. That could be. That doesn't seem unreasonable.
Yes. I mean, anxiety, stress.
Yeah. Anxiety,
fear.
stress, hypertension, fear, all kinds of mental conditions. For sure, I believe that.
Well,
But
and all
cancer?
of those can be physically debilitating, for
Well,
sure.
then lead
But,
with
like,
that.
Cancer,
Lead like
yes.
you're going to get stressed out, and these might lead to this.
Yes. Yeah, for sure. Like, don't just go from point A to point Z and expect everyone to just make a correlation without you making an actual argument for it.
But you weren't
know?
making a correlation. You were trying to
No.
just like use propaganda.
Just a tagline. It's just a tagline. It's just a stupid fucking tagline to make everyone talk about shit today, except for the fact that they're not actually doing anything to end police brutality yet.
Right. Well, and they
It's
all
just a
showed up with
distract-
private police force to disband the police, and it's just like, you know, and
Yeah.
if they disband the police with no real program going forward, like that will
We're
kill
fucked, man.
Minneapolis. That like
If
it's
they
already
don't-
Minneapolis is already
Yeah.
kind of dead.
If they don't put like a position in place so that every cop is running around with like a grief counselor and like, you know, a social worker, and they just take this money away from the
You
cops,
there,
we're all
you
fucked.
there, freeze! Show me on the doll where I stressed you out.
Yeah, having a gun pointed at you while a grief counselor is trying to calm
Yeah.
you down. That's gonna
How
work.
are you feeling? No Diggity said, I love the reporting a week or so ago. White supremacist shot someone at a homeless encampment, according to Minneapolis police. Police did not respond to the shooting. 3 sentences later, Minneapolis police has not confirmed if the shooter was a white supremacist. Yeah, I mean, that's what it's happening now. That's a Star Tribune trick right there. Like, but it's fucking crazy, man. And
Newsweek does that a lot too. You'll like,
yeah.
you'll read
Oh,
it.
dude, you know who's been, you know who I've been catching doing that shit all the time lately? Is fucking Reuters. And it breaks my heart because Reuters used to be my favorite news source. And I'm catching them all the time with all this other. Oh, and also, I don't know, you should go back and watch Friday's stuff. There's a fucking link. So, you know the initial numbers on the coronavirus?
Uh-huh.
So those numbers are
The
from an
predictions, you
Oxford.
mean?
Yeah, those numbers are from an Oxford University that has been used for every pandemic and been 80 to 90% wrong every time they're used.
Well, I mean, the thing that always like infuriates me about those numbers, right, is it's the same as a weatherman telling you it's going to rain on Wednesday. Like, he doesn't actually know if it's going to rain on Wednesday. He's just looking at the math and going, yeah, it probably could rain on Wednesday, right? Like, there's no actual, like, a weatherman telling you something doesn't mean it's actually going to happen. Someone making data like that doesn't mean it's actually going to happen. And I hate when people take it so seriously. And I agree that we shouldn't be trusting people who are 80 to 90% wrong all the time.
Well, it's
But
not
I
even
don't
that we're
really-
trusting them. It's that they're our default to go to. Like, not
Yes,
only should we
yes.
not be trusting them, we should not be using them.
Using them. I completely agree with that. But I'm not a guy that looks at, like, I was looking at different data reports like that very next week when they were
Sure,
already
but
starting
if
to go
you
down.
but if you had been following the last one, and these were the ones, H1N1, swine flu, SARS-1, and SARS-2, the last big 4 ones, and they were all wrong.
Did they
by
do Ebola too or no?
what?
Did they do Ebola
They did
too?
not. Well, if they did, nobody used them. But what happened, what I'm saying is that all the major countries keep using this group for their study formation, and they're 70 to 90% pessimistic on all their numbers, which tells you, like, they're using those because of control. They want people to freak out. They want us to get these numbers that are going to make us afraid.
Right. Well,
So-
and then the people who are making more accurate models are swept under the rug and made to look like discredited, you know? That's the problem that I have, is that going out and finding good math, you almost can't even use it. You can keep it for your own personal reference, but, like, it's so obscure and out of the way that it's not really relevant.
Right. No, you're absolutely right. Just Jules says they are creating their own version of science. Yeah, you're not wrong. Rusty Grammer said tornado risk is dependent on jet stream, a low front, and hot humid air mixing with cold. Also notice all tornadoes spin clockwise. Well, thank you for that tornado tutorial.
Yeah, thanks.
They also believe there are 80 different genders. That's all you need to know. I mean, yeah, it is weird, and there is a reckoning coming where, for a lot, like, no matter what your alignment is, like, there's this thing that's been happening where people, and they seem to be mostly on the left, have been just getting away with making up whatever they want and pressing it like it's fucking science. And shit like this is where it comes to a head. The only reason they issued the statement is because we've been engaging these people on a lot of stuff like this. Like, we've let a lot of stuff go in the name of, like, well, not my fight. And this is all coming to a head. They're now telling you that racism and ideology, again, I'm not saying I endorse racism, but racism is an ideology. It does not cause cancer. You're not a doctor. Stop it.
I gotta say, as someone who kind of believes that the next civil war is definitely on the horizon, I couldn't be more happy to be sitting in the center, not giving a shit which way my flag is pointed.
I know. The only side of the aisle I'm sitting on is the get the fuck off my lawn side. You know, like, get off my lawn. Go.
If you're not on my lawn, we don't have a problem. Enjoy your civil war.
No Diggity said Fauci said that H1N1 isn't enough to shut down the economy and to wash your hands and not go outside if you're sick. Now COVID is shutdown time. It has nothing to do with Fauci. Like, stop that. Like, I get it. You want him to be the bad guy, but he's not.
He's a knight in a worldwide pandemic chessboard. That's it.
Right. And he's not even that because he got let go. The main thing is that he was put in an impossible situation where he had to, like, recite shit that he didn't really believe in. And then the moment he left that employment, he got to say what he really wanted. And
well,
I mean, here's the thing about COVID. I'm not as scared of it as most people, but if you think that this isn't like anything we've ever seen, you're not paying attention. The amount of transfer that happens between asymptomatic people is fucking crazy. And I'm not saying that, like, oh, the fatality rates, of course, we know, I've been on record, the fatality rates are not that big of a deal. They just aren't. Mm-hmm. But
you still don't want your dick to get smaller.
Right, like, right. No, I think getting, like, I can survive, but, like, if I have a small dick, I only have so many things going for me. I don't need one of them taken away, all right? Yeah, Rusty Grammar says, what can I say? I'm a fucking expert. I have a search engine. That's about it. Rusty Grammar says, don't sit in the center. That's dangerous. Sit on the outside and grab your popcorn. Ellie Mae says, I'm scared enough for everyone. So how long did you guys make it camping the entire weekend, or how long did you last?
No, Saturday night when the tornado warning came in, we booked it back down to Rochester, and then yesterday my brother and I came back up and broke down camp.
Okay.
So we made it all day Saturday. We made it all the way through the heat, and we would have made it all weekend if that tornado, hadn't been so close to us.
Is there a lake up there and shit?
It's right off the St. Croix, which connects into the Minnesota, which connects into Mississippi.
Oh, so you had water though. I mean, to like you could go like fuck around in the water.
Oh, absolutely. I bought we'll talk about this off show. I bought an inflatable canoe that's actually really badass.
Wait, what?
Yeah, I bought a really dope inflatable.
They make inflatable canoes?
Yes, and it is the coolest thing I've ever seen.
I'm googling this right now. I've never even heard of an inflatable canoe.
Yep. I can. It's like the Ranger X2 or whatever. I don't remember, or something like that. But anyway,
Explorer K2.
Yeah, that's it. That's exactly the one that I have. And so I just put myself like, I don't know, 100 yards out.
What the fuck? Why does it? It looks like a real canoe.
It is, dude. It is. And I had an air pump that I was able to bring a battery charger with, and I had it inflated in 10 minutes. It went back in the bag in 10 minutes. Bag zipped up, no problems. It is the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life.
What does something like that run?
I just stayed out in the water all day in the canoe and splashed water on myself.
What does something like that run?
I got it gently used for $250. New, I think they're right around $3.
Dude, this is crazy. What? Oh, yeah. Share that. Yeah. Here, I've never seen these. This is pretty crazy. Here's
When I was looking for something because I didn't know the water well enough to bring our jet boat, you know, and on a river you got to be really careful with a jet boat anyway, because it's just way easier to suck stuff up from the bottom.
You would think that would be a bad time to have an inflatable canoe, though. like you know what I mean? Like I feel like that's when you would want a metal canoe.
It's got a hard bottom on it, you know, so it's not like you're gonna really rip it up that much. It's designed to be portage and all that other stuff, and it's actually got storage places on it. Like the seats are really adjustable. It's a really nice thing. Like I was really impressed.
Yeah, that thing looks dope as shit, man. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah. I was very skeptical, but that looks really cool. And you said with an air pump, it was like 10 minutes.
Yeah. So I had an electric air pump.
How tiny does it get when it's like not inflated?
A large suitcase.
Okay, that's not unreasonable. That seems so much better than having a fucking boat that you have to like tow around and shit.
About 35, 40 pounds, like you can probably do on your own. You know, you could. It's got 2 straps on it, so you can, in theory, wear it like a backpack.
Well, it's way easier than carrying around an actual canoe.
I wouldn't, because it was a mile hike uphill and downhill. I wouldn't have been able to bring a real canoe back there.
Dude, that's fucking crazy. Hold on, I want to see if I can find video of this shit. That's fucking nuts.
Yeah, you and I can go out on one of these days. Like it's like we don't even have to. Like the thing is like I'm not a huge paddler, but just sitting out in the water and just enjoying nature is fucking awesome.
Yeah, canoes are medium, but like this is a great idea.
Yeah.
Let me see.
Especially you don't got to carry the weight.
Yeah, no, I like portaging a canoe is the worst.
So, Jay Blood, it's not that tippy. It's actually less tippy than a regular canoe. My nephew proved that to me because he had trouble getting in. He fell out, and I wasn't even worried about falling out. It's got more flex than a canoe. So if the guy in front fucks up and he's going over, the canoe bends just enough that it keeps the person in the back or in the front end. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not tippy at all. I was really surprised. There's big waves coming in from the boats going by.
How did you find out about this, or how did you decide you were going to get it?
Because I found out like the day or two before we went that bringing the boat wasn't going to be feasible, and we were getting a canoe camping site. So I just thought it would be a real shame to get this site and have no watercraft to take out there. So like I went and I just started looking on Facebook Marketplace and Google, and then I saw this, and then I saw someone had it locally, and then I messaged them about it and picked it up.
All right, here we're gonna watch this video on this. This is fucking crazy.
Dude.
Yeah, they're using some kind of fucking weird shit. Is this?
On the sides, and then 4 and 5 on each end.
I like this guy already. Listen to him talk. This guy knows some canoeing, man. Listen to the way this guy talks.
But look how big that dude is, though. It's got a 400-pound capacity, too, which I love.
Flavored Lube Meat says, I can't see Corey in a canoe. I love canoes. Fucking, I actually enjoy, I used to canoe a bunch with a buddy of mine because it was the easiest way to get high. We would go out on the canoe and just rip. Here, do you need a license for that in the water with a canoe or no?
No, you don't need a license. It's you don't even need to get it registered, especially if it's a rubber canoe.
I suppose because it's not even a fucking boat. All right, here we go. This is an Intex here. Mute your mic. I'm gonna mute my mic. We're gonna watch this Intex X2 kayak as explained by this weird Southern guy. Here we go.
Inflatable kayak that we're gonna blow up for the first time and see how it works. Right, girls?
Yep.
There's 5 different blow-up sections. Number 1 on the bottom. You have 2 and 3 on the sides, and then 4 and 5 on each end. Ready to blow it up?
Yep.
Let's do it. Plastic gauge, so you can line it up here with this diagram, and you can see how much you've inflated or how much left you have to go. So we have a little bit more. You can pump a little bit more for us?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you gotta be ready for that.
A little bit more. That's good. Okay. Ready?
Whoa. Yeah, when
Okay.
we are done.
So now let's do. This is number 2.
Well, that's kind of cool. It's got multiple areas to inflate.
Yeah, which means that it won't deflate on you. Also, it's way faster with an
First time.
Yeah, of course it is. But this guy's got kids he wants to punish. Also, shout out to News of the Weird subscribing. Thank you so much.
Okay, girl.
Ready.
Lower up.
Okay.
It's like the only good argument for having kids. Yeah, No Diggity says, shout out to punishing kids.
Now we're gonna move around and do section number 3. Let's go on this other side, girls. Can you stand right there?
I'm ready.
How many sections are there? 4, you said?
Plug you
So
in.
there's what he's doing
Go
is
for it.
the main 4, the 2 sides, and then there's 2 smaller pockets that you blow up for your storage containers in the front and the back.
How big are those storage containers?
It's just a flat, like a normal canoe where you'd be able, or a kayak where you'd be able to just shove anything under it. You'll see that like as it inflates the 2 like hangovers over the front, you could pull that up right there and shove stuff under it.
Okay. And there's that suitcase bag you were saying. Yeah, this is a really cool find, dude. Congrats.
Yeah, I'm gonna be out with it a bunch this summer, especially because I haven't been able to use the jet skis as much. This is like my.
Now, is that gonna get really hot because it's fucking vinyl?
No, honestly, because it gets a little bit of water in the bottom from you getting in and people getting out. Like I had my nephews getting in and out of it all weekend, so like every time someone would get in, a little bit more water would get in the bottom of the boat, and it's like sitting in a nice little tub and then just splashing water over the top of you. Like I wasn't sticky or felt uncomfortable at all. It was perfect.
Producer Mike says that big fuck won't be getting in that boat. No, he will. Watch.
It's got a 400-pound weight
And we're just
capacity.
gonna Velcro this right to the bottom of the boat.
I think the seats weren't in yet, so he thought it was super skinny.
Goes in
The
like
seats
that.
are the coolest part. How they go in.
Clip it on here.
Oh, that's Velcro, huh?
Adjustable Velcro, and then they strap
Tighten it up.
in so that you can tighten them to keep the. He's actually got his the wrong way, or he'll figure it out.
You're all set.
So on mine, the straps go in front of the seats to hold them up. I don't like.
So it's done.
He's got them in the back. Is kind
No,
of.
he totally fucked up. You can tell the seats are facing the wrong way.
The wrong way.
Yeah, he fucked up. I think he realizes it too.
Here.
Yep. Okay. There it
Oops.
is. Yeah, he realized it.
And now
Yeah.
we know why.
Backwards.
So let's try it again, shall we?
They're about 250
Okay,
bucks. News
we
of the
got her
week.
done. She's finished, blown up, ready
Yeah,
to
that
go.
looks
We're
way
gonna put
better,
the skeg
like,
again down by the
hold on.
water.
Yeah,
Blown
the
up,
straps
ready to
are
go.
gonna see that's how it's supposed to go. And then you loosen the straps to let yourself recline, or you tighten the straps to sit up. It's so ingenious.
It looks like I get that it's made well and whatever, but it looks real flimsy.
That's what was the most surprising part to me, is how sturdy it was with boats going by and large wakes coming by, and this thing was just rolling with the waves, and I didn't feel tippy or like I was gonna fall out.
Man, that's crazy.
Go. We're gonna put the skeg in down by the water, and put her in and go from there.
Has a little fin for the bottom of it that helps it go through the water.
That's cool. JJ's Blood Alcohol says, I paid more than $250 for an airhead tube.
I would let a boat tow me with that. Just put a rope on it. That'd be better than a tube in some aspects, I feel like.
Yeah. 400 pounds. Welp, so much for her and I going, LOL. Jer. Yeah. I don't know. You guys just get two. You'll be fine. Just put the seat in the middle.
I had more than 400 pounds in it this weekend, and honestly, it didn't struggle. It wasn't bogging in the water. It didn't make me worried.
Dude, this is... What a weird rabbit hole you've thrown me in. Here's a first review of it.
This is literally what I'm here for.
What?
That's literally what I'm here for. Rabbit holes.
Yeah, seems like.
Portable,
All right, here we go.
light.
Someone asked if I work on jet skis. The answer is absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. Oh, that's the pump and
It's
pump.
an Explorer K2 by Intex.
Yeah, so it comes with a hand pump.
It was easy to set up. How long did it take, Bianca? 10 minutes? Yeah, 10 minutes. You have to blow up about 3 things. You put the keel in there. And it's going for its maiden voyage. We didn't crack the champagne on it, but...
Jij voorin? Oké, dan gaan we echt zinken.
Nee, buddy, blijf hier. Buddy,
Ja, maar als ik wil echt...
Ja, fijn. Kom maar, je bent
This guy
licht.
at least has the seats the right way.
Hoezo raar?
It's not
You
sinking?
didn't film this fuck up.
No? Okay. It can hold up to 180 kilos. So I'm 100 of that already.
Niet mijn... Kom.
Okay, this is now recording. Let's go.
God, that'd be nerve-wracking the first time you use it. You're just like, is this gonna work?
Yeah, there's a little bit of nerves, like the first time you put it in the water, but if you take it 10 feet out, you're like, wow, this is really freaking cool.
And, like, that's pretty great. Corey, put it in his cart. Yeah, that's really cool, man. Like, see more of them doing it. Look at those kids go. Look at those kids go. Yeah, you can pull it behind in jet skis. $180 kilos of schneef party. Yeah, it does look fun, man. I like that. This is fucking cool.
JJ's blood alcohol content. I do work on jet skis, specifically Sea-Doo and Yamaha.
And by that means those are the two that you specifically have. You'll probably work on any of them.
Yeah, but I don't really like Polaris that much, so I try and stay away from them.
Really? Are their jet skis garbage?
Yeah, super garbage.
Okay. So yeah, that's the crazy fucking dark hole that like is inflatable canoes. Wow, there's a bunch of these too. That's crazy. Have you seen the modifications?
What do people do with them?
They have modifications to make them fishing kayaks.
Oh, to put like outriggers on them and stuff.
Apparently, I don't know. Let's find out.
I'm going to be turning this inflatable kayak into a fishing kayak. Now, I know you're probably wondering why would
look at that shit.
into a fishing kayak.
There it is. That's kind of cool.
Now, I know you're probably wondering why would anybody do this? Well, for me, I don't have the space to store an actual kayak, and this thing, I can store it in my closet. It's also super easy to transport. I can fit this thing in the back of a car, and not to mention, it's pretty cheap for a kayak. Everything that I've used in this video is linked down in the description below. If you're interested, go ahead and check those out. But for now, let's go ahead and get to the build. I began by inflating the kayak so I could figure out what my inside dimensions are. This kayak is divided up into 3 main air chambers and 2 small air chambers on each end of the kayak, and they have to be inflated in a certain order. It's also reassuring to know that if you are unlucky enough to have the kayak get a hole in it while you're out on the water, you still have 4 other air chambers to keep you floating until you can reach land safely. Once the kayak was mostly inflated, I could get a rough dimension of what the inside floor will be.
It comes with a couple.
It was approximately 20 inches wide.
It comes with a couple of rubber patches, so like if you're gonna ever
so
go,
like a bike tire almost, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's something that, like if you wanted to go up to the boundary water and you brought it up, you could theoretically make this.
Shout out to Cole SS who's following us. Thank you for the follow. We'd love to have your subscription. Yeah, I mean that's pretty fucking crazy. I don't know, man. This is one of the cooler things I've seen in a long time.
By 7.5 feet. For the floorboard, I picked up 2 1x10 boards that are 8 feet long.
No, and I was really skeptical about buying it, because it's
using
more
my
than
speed square and circular.
Right, that's the thing. Is like it's fucking weird, and it's not that expensive. That just spells doom usually.
Right, and I was like, well, it's just for the kids, and if it sucks, I'm only going to use it for one day, and like I would just feel really shitty if I don't have any kind of watercraft there for them to play with. And how impressed I was with it.
What did the kids think of it? Did they love it?
Yeah, I mean, they were like fighting for turns to get in it.
Did your brother like it?
He liked it because I was distracting the kids, and he got to lay in the lake and just ignore everybody.
Yeah, I feel bad. I feel bad for Josh because it's just like he's got so much stress all the time. It's like you just chill out. You're fine. You got this.
But he loves it. That's what's the crazy part is he freaking loves it.
No Diggity says, geez, Tovar, why don't you just weld yourself up a canoe?
I'm a nut and bolt man. I leave the welders to people who have better eyesight.
Yeah, well, and like, I don't know. Seems like it's way easier to just press blow up on a fucking machine, right?
Yeah.
Oh, funny. So Balls Deep just wrote, had an outbreak of chiggers at a nearby lake growing up. Never got them myself, but laughed at buddies who did. Looked miserable, right? But more importantly, and this is the funny part, they just asked me if I want to allow that. Like, apparently the word chiggers is being held by Automod.
So, like, because it's close enough to the other word? That's really weird.
It's not that close to leeches. What are you talking about? Bro, Bulls Dip just put chiggers are real. There you go. Just kind of weird, right? All right, let's watch this guy mod this out into a fucking fishing kayak.
I want the floor to be collapsible because it will make it much easier to transport and store away when not in use. So I used 4 hinges to secure the 2 1x10 boards together. Next, I placed the inflated kayak on top of my floorboard so I could shape the floor to fit inside the kayak. I used the bottom of the kayak to get a rough outline for my floorboards. I could then cut out the shape with a jigsaw. I made sure to sand the edges of the boards before test fitting the floor inside the kayak. Once I got the floor to the right size, I used my router with a roundover bit to round off all the edges of the floor. This part is optional. Using sandpaper on all the edges would work just fine. Next, I placed the floor back in the kayak so I could determine where I wanted the seat console to be located and how big it needed to be. In this camera shot, I actually placed the floor upside down for no particular reason. Decided what the hinges will be on the bottom. Using my miter saw and table saw, I cut down my boards for the seat console. Or I could
just enjoy it as is.
Yeah, but like, how cool would it be to like pimp
I
it
used
out?
pocket hole
like
screws so I didn't have any screw heads showing. I could then start assembling everything.
You would fucking have a goddamn ruckus. Like, you could make this a fucking like hot rod canoe.
I'll have LED lights and a 400-watt sound minute by next week.
That's what I'm saying, dude. And you could put this in and have an actual like seat. Like, dude, could you imagine if you had like a recliner or something on there? Fucking hilarious.
I want to be able to reach those items easily. So I mounted a seat swivel to the seat console so that I'll be able to slightly rotate the chair.
It's a $300
I used carriage
boat.
bolts through the
It's
underneath side of the seat console, which allowed me to secure the seat swivel and chair to the console. With the seat console put together, I could move on to building the mounting support bracket that will hold the fishing poles and a trolling motor because, well, why not? I want to put this inflatable kayak to the test, and I already have a trolling motor from my previous inflatable rowboat modification project. So if you like this video, then you might like that project video as well. I'll leave a link in the description. Again, I use my miter saw and table saw to cut down the boards
I would do that with the
for the mounting bracket.
That looks badass.
I also use my jigsaw to cut an angled edge on the front of the mounting bracket, which will secure the rod holders. This will allow the fishing poles to be slightly angled toward the back of the kayak, which is really just a preference of mine. I wanted to support the trolling motor beam so that the beam is slightly resting on the side tubes of the kayak, because that should make everything more secure and hopefully reduce the kayak from leaning to one side. For the trolling motor beam, I cut down a 2x4 and beveled off the ends for aesthetics. And I use a router with a roundover bit to smooth all the edges. I could then move on to fishing rod holders, which I just used PVC pipe. To mount the holders to the support board, I drilled 2 holes through the center of the PVC pipe. The hole on the outside is wide enough to get my drill bit and screw through, while the hole closest to the support board is only wide enough to get the screw in.
That's cool.
Next, I could lay out the floorboard so I could determine where I wanted my seat and my mounting bracket to go.
No diggity said
I then drilled holes through the seat console and bracket support through the floorboard, which I will use to attach and detach them using bolts with wing nuts. For the flooring, I used construction adhesive to secure the outdoor carpet piece that I had left over from my previous project. When the adhesive had dried, I cut off the excess carpet using a utility knife. I could then sand everything down and round off all the edges before putting my coat of paint on. Since my carpet didn't stretch long enough to cover the entire floorboard, I just painted the rest of that as well.
Aaron with AE says,
this is the back of the kayak, so it really wasn't a huge deal. Once the paint had dried, I could start piecing everything together.
No, you're not wrong.
After assembling the motor mount to the support bracket, I added a little notch on the opposite side of where the motor is going to be mounted. This notch will be used so I can have a place to put the rope for the
wood in it.
Yeah, right? I mean, I don't know. Like, it's... Like, he's just confident. What is the weight capacity on it? Like, what's the...
400 pounds.
I mean, yeah, it'll be close.
Bolts from the underneath side of the floor, because this is how I will be able to attach and detach the seat and support bracket. And to make it easier to locate the holes for the carriage bolts, I countersunk each hole. When using a kayak, there's always a possibility of the kayak tipping and rolling over. For that purpose, everything has to be secured down to the actual kayak so you don't lose anything. So I removed the 2 straps that secured the inflatable seats down to the kayak and used them instead to secure the floor to the kayak.
Of course, this guy's from Wisconsin.
Since all my modifications are mounted to the floor, I don't have to worry about losing anything if the kayak does tip
No, Diggy says he dreams nightly of this old house.
To secure the trolling motor battery, I'm using the strap and the 2 brackets that came with the battery box.
Scotty says it all. Yeah, you're not wrong.
Finally, I could add the finishing touches to this kayak. I also placed 2 bungee cords in front of the seat console to secure my tackle boxes when placed there. And what would be a fishing kayak without a cup holder and fish finder? With the fish kayak done,
we're just gonna do a balance
Oh,
test. We're
shit.
gonna test you before and
Oh,
after
shit.
wearing the
Yeah.
cow pads.
Okay, I'm excited.
Okay.
That's...
I could pack everything up and take it to the water.
Do you see the bag that it comes in?
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of sold on this thing, man. This is kind of rad. And, like, not having a license and not needing a thing that, like, you can just throw this in your trunk and just leave it there. Then you just
I
have a
have
canoe
one now.
whenever
We can
you
go
need
out
it.
whenever you want. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you want to borrow it, let me know.
Yeah, I might actually do that. That's fucking rad. Producer Mike says, I can't wait to fish it out of the lake when he loses it. Wait, did he build a wooden air pump? No, he did not. I don't know. Look, we're making a lot of fun of him, but that looks kind of dope. I'm not going to lie.
That looks really freaking cool.
Okay, so we are out here at the lake, and it is a beautiful, cold, chilly Wisconsin morning. But I got the kayak set up and ready to go. And I'm having a pretty good feeling about this morning, I hope. We're testing this kayak in 2 different stages. The first, I'm not going to put any gear or anything in it. I just want to get inside and make sure it's going to work and that it's not going to be top heavy. You're going to want to roll me over and
Changes
dunk
what
me in the
Algol
water.
says. No
'Cause
cooler, no cred for this guy.
I don't want to get dunked in the water this morning. It's pretty chilly. It's like 35 degrees. So yeah.
Let's do it.
I feel like a project you do like this is a project you do stone cold sober.
Okay, like, it is cool, but he looks ridiculous. Oh, that shit almost tipped. That almost tipped, bro.
It's way more chippy with that raised seat. Look at it. That looks way more chippy.
Look at that swivel seat, though. God, that's really cool.
That's impressive. That's impressive. He's standing in the middle of it, jumping up and down.
Yeah. And then swiveling around. I mean, like, it, like, has some tip to it, but it's still pretty stable.
Yeah, and that's just because of the raised seat. When you're sitting down in it, there's like no tip.
Yeah. Oh, hold on. It's talking again.
I'm actually pretty impressed with this. Okay, well that actually went better than expected. I'm actually pretty impressed with this little kayak. It's pretty stable for the most part. I was able to stand up. I was able to maneuver around, swivel in my seat a little bit. I probably wouldn't stand up a whole lot unless I had to, but yeah, I'm pretty excited about this. I think so far it's a win. Now the biggest question remains is hooking this trolling motor up to this kayak. Let's check it.
Here we go. This is what you need, man. I'm telling you, Tovar. Motor.
The trolling motor I'm
I'll
using
just bring
is a
you.
55-pound thrust, which is way more powerful motor than you need for a kayak.
This
A
is
30 to
amazing.
40-pound thrust.
I want one on the
trolling
other
motor would
side,
probably be
too.
better and lighter for a kayak.
You want a twin engine?
This
Yeah,
trolling motor is
a
one I
twin
already
engine,
owned,
dude.
which is
Are you
why
kidding
I'm
me?
using it.
A twin engine inflatable kayak? Yes, fucking please.
And we'll use
However,
lithium-ion batteries. We'll just line the floor with it. So instead
Yeah.
of wood, the whole
Still
ion
felt comfortable
battery.
while in the
Yeah.
kayak and was able to move around in it pretty well. Also, a trolling motor is totally optional. And really, I would only use a trolling motor on this kayak if I'm on a large lake and I want to get to my fishing spots quickly. With the test runs done, it's time to load everything up and finally do some fishing.
That looks awesome.
Thank you guys so much for sticking around and watching the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I think I'm gonna get a lot of fun out of this kayak.
That's kind of cool, man. I'm excited for you and your kayak. We need to put trolling motors on it. Oh, that's great.
Wait till I get a Sea-Doo motor strapped to the back of one of those things.
That's what I'm saying, dude. Get a jet engine, dude. Jet engine inflatable kayak. Into it. He built this so he could get ad revenue and afford the real boat. No, he said early on that he didn't want a real boat because he doesn't have the room to store it. Yeah, I think I want one of these, man. I might have to buy one.
That the bigger boat project that he did, I want to watch that one because that one looks cool too. The rowboat.
We can find it. Here, we'll watch it right now. Why not? Why the fuck
Just
not?
because that looks like a bigger boat and a more stable boat if you were going to do that to it.
Let's see here.
Ilhan Omar.
And all right, yeah. Here's a. All right, this is yeah. We'll watch this. This actually, you know what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna this guy has a channel called Make It. I'm gonna share the link. Like this is fucking really cool. I'm gonna fucking boom. And we'll go boom. What does this have to do with VPNs? Nothing. It has nothing to do with VPNs yet. We got sidetracked on inflatable rabbit holes. So that's where we are. We'll get to VPNs though. I got a lot of VPN stuff today. We'll get to VPNs, guys.
I'm Brad, and today I'll be turning this inflatable boat into a fishing boat. Now,
So
if you're
okay,
like me,
is this,
you enjoy
so Intex. So this is the same company. Hold on. So this is
Correct. Also, most people don't have a speed for a VPN.
Don't have what?
The speed for a true VPN.
Well, yeah, but the services vouch speed or whatever.
I mean, you can go through a server VPN, and that will give you some security, but it's not really doing as much as people think it's doing. In order to get a full VPN, you need a gig up and a gig down.
Yeah, but we'll get there, man. Come on, spoiler alert. Jesus, come on. You're ruining their day already. Okay, so the boat, it looks like the boat is actually cheaper than the canoe. That can't be right.
If that's true, then I'm going to go out and find one. That looks fun.
It has on two of the sites, it says 180.
Why don't you? Well, let's watch this guy's video on it, and then you should buy that boat, and then we can just switch.
Oh, here's one that says 365. I guarantee you it's more. It would have to be, right?
I think retail, if you went to like Shields or any kind of outdoor store, it'd probably be about $350, $400.
Yeah, you would think it'd just be double whatever the canoe is because it's like double the material, right? I mean, that was just the logic. Because I mean, like the technology looks like it's the same, so whatever. All right. Yeah, here we go.
Welcome back. I'm Brad from Make It, and today I'll be turning this inflatable boat into a fishing boat. Now, if you're like me, you enjoy fishing, but you just don't have anywhere to store a boat. That's what attracted me to this particular setup. I can store this boat in the back of my truck, in the back of our minivan, take it out to the lake, do my fishing, come back, store everything away. It's not taking up any garage space. It's not taking up any driveway space. I can store this out of sight, out of mind. Now, this particular inflatable boat is designed to have an attachable motor mount to it so you can hook up a trolling motor to it. However, I wanted to customize it and modify this boat to where I can go out and do my fishing for an extended period of time and have it function like a fishing boat and be comfortable in it. So in this video, I'll be showing you my step-by-step process of how I made this boat, and everything that I use in this video, including the equipment that I use, will be linked down in the description below. If you're interested, you can check those out. I am not sponsored by anybody. This is just something that I wanted to do for a very long time. You'll definitely want to stick around to the end because I will actually take this boat out onto the waters, show you what it looks like. I also tell you what I think about this boat and whether or not it's actually worth it to go through this process and have a boat
trying to get
like
on Shark
this.
Tank.
Let's go ahead and dive right into the project. I began by inflating the boat. This gave me an idea of how big the floor needed to be, which I will be making out of 3/4 inch sheet of plywood.
This is fucking life-changing.
This boat is made up of 3 inflatable chambers.
It was
The
my
first
solution
is
to
the
not
floor,
being able to use
and then
Desi's
there's
that
an
much
inner
this
tube chamber and an outer tube chamber, and they need to be inflated in that order.
It was my solution to
Once
not be,
everything was
not-
inflated,
to not
I
have
can get a
Desi
rough
use as much this
dimension
year.
for the floor.
That's kind of exciting, man. So he's basically doing the same thing. He's just sawing the boards, measuring them. This guy loves putting boards in inflatable boats.
It's got a thing for wood. It's from Wisconsin. What do you want?
That boat looks cooler than the kayak, man. Like, that's fucking rad.
That's why I wanted to watch this, because this looks, I mean, it looks like a bigger boat to carry, but it looks like a cool boat.
I wonder how much more weight that represents when it's all collapsed. You know what I mean? Because, like, I can't imagine that material is that much heavier.
My guess is like 15, 20 pounds.
Sure.
I don't want the floor to be too wide, but I do want the edge of the boat to slightly overlap the edge of the floor to a nice snug fit. Once I got the floor to a nice fit, I used my router with a roundover bit to round the edges. I then smoothed everything over with my sander to eliminate any sharp or rough edges. Because I'm not using treated plywood, I put an outdoor furniture sealer on each side of the board to help protect it from water. This step can be eliminated if you just use treated plywood. While the sealer was drying, I could start to assemble my boat chairs. This consists of 3 parts: the chair, the pedestal, and since I want my chairs to rotate, I attached a boat seat swivel that goes between the boat seat and the pedestal. Next, I could determine the boat floor layout. Here, I'm determining where I want the front and back seat to be located. I want the back seat to be slightly off-center so it will be comfortable steering the boat, and for the front seat, I made it directly into the center. I will be placing the battery in the middle of the boat, but opposite side of the back seat to help even the weight. With everything laid out, I could start to drill the appropriate holes in the floor. Because I'm leaving the floor all in one piece, I wanted to make it easier to carry around. So I made 2 small handles on one side to help when transporting it. I have seen people cut the floor in half to make it easier to carry and transport in their vehicle, but because I had the space to keep the floor all in one piece, I went ahead and left it this way.
I know.
This
Everybody
also
in this
ensures
room
that I
is
have the
giving him
most
shit.
stable
This
and
guy's awesome.
secure floor as possible. I drilled out 4 holes for where
I
each
bet you he's
seat
not
will
that
be,
far away from
as
us.
well as a 2-inch hole
I mean,
where
he's
the
in
motor mount cable
Wisconsin,
will
so
fit
probably
through
not.
to attach
Like,
the cable
he's
to
not
my
doing this
battery.
on the Milwaukee side of Wisconsin. I bet
On
this
the
guy
other
lives in
side
like
of the floor,
Madison
I
or some
used my
shit.
router with a roundover bit to make the edges smooth on the carrying handles as well as the hole for the cable to eliminate any sharp corners. I can then attach the outdoor carpet that I picked up from my local home store. I started by securing one side of the floor first using staples. I could then cut off the leftover scrap carpet and then attach the opposite side, pulling it as tight as I can to eliminate any ruffles. I didn't use any adhesive just because I might want to change the layout of the boat later on. I used an X-Acto knife to cut out the holes for my handles. I made sure not to cut the entire hole out so I could still wrap the carpet through the hole and secure it from the underneath side of the boat. Once the carpet was attached, I used pipe insulation around the outside edge of the floor to help protect the boat a bit better. The pipe insulation covers the edges and the staples, so I don't have to worry about the staples coming out and possibly puncturing the boat. The pipe insulation I'm using has sticky adhesive on the edges, however, to help hold them in place, I use zip ties every 6 to 8 inches to prevent the insulation from falling off.
That's kind of cool.
I then
That's a good
flipped
idea.
the floor over and attached 1
Can you
and a
imagine if
quarter
this
inch
guy was
carriage
on the
bolts
team
in
that
the holes
tried
where
to
the
escape
boat
from
seat.
Alcatraz back in the day?
Yeah. Well, you see, I took these cafeteria spoons and I welded them together. This is crazy.
To make sure the seat pedestals fit. Now that the floor was
spoon
done,
motor.
I could move on to making the box for the middle console. I cut my 4 sides and made a box. I will be covering the outside of this with more carpet, so I'm not worried about exposed screws. I made this box wide enough to be able to fit the battery inside, as well as other miscellaneous items such as life vest, my anchor, and things of that nature. I added a couple support boards to the top and bottom for extra strength. To move the support boards over, I can still access them. Next, I could attach the outside with more outdoor carpet. Now, I'm definitely not a professional at this, but I started by attaching the carpet in the middle of the short side of the box because that side will not be seen as much and it will be harder to spot the seam. I secured the top side first and I pretty much wrapped the box like a big Christmas present. I'm not sure if this is the right way to do it, but it worked for me. I
this
didn't
is
realize
so
until
cool.
now that I didn't have enough carpet to do the entire outside in one piece, so I had to patch that up at the end. Once the top was down, I could flip it over and attach the bottom side of the box and stretch the carpet as much as possible to get it nice and tight.
I like to stretch carpet myself.
For the lift up top part of the console, I'm using cedar, which is naturally rot resistant and can be left exposed outside without the need for a sealer or finish. To make my cedar panel, I use pocket screws again, just because if I ever want to
Cedar
adjust
is
the
rot
size of my
resistance? I
console
never knew
later
that.
down the road, I can still do that
Because you're
pretty
not from
easily.
Wisconsin.
Yeah.
I attached the door using door hinges. For a little more customization, I added a fishing pole rack that I purchased off Amazon, as well as 2 collapsible drink holders on each side of the console.
He loves his drink holders.
Gotta have that O'Doul's.
Yeah.
Okay, so now that the construction part of the boat is basically done, I wanted to fill you guys in on my setup of how I was going to be powering this boat. The boat does come with 2 oars, but I'm going to be using a 55-pound thrust trolling motor and then connected to my
Say,
battery,
hey, don't
which
touch
is
that. That's a
also in this
load-bearing
battery
sled.
box. Now, what's nice about this battery box, it does contain the battery, so if my battery does this happen to leak or whatever, it's going to be contained in this box and it's not going to get over your boat, it's not going to get in the lake or anything like that, so it's very nice to have one of these battery boxes. Also, what's nice about this particular battery box, it comes with 2 power auxiliary ports here, so I'm going to be able to use my air pump to pump my boat using this battery. It also comes with an indicator light that tells you whether the battery is full, half full, or it needs to be recharged, which is really nice. And then what's also nice is comes with 2 breakers. So for this particular battery box, you hook up your cables to the battery, and that's going to be set to the 60 amp breaker. So if you happen to be overworking your trolling motor and you don't know it, it's going to break the breaker, and then it'll protect your trolling motor from frying, which is super nice. It also comes with a 10 amp breaker for your 2 ports here as well. So it's pretty easy. Once you set up the battery, you can go ahead and set up your negative and positive to your battery box, and you're good to go. For this particular setup, I'm actually going to have my
I really want this guy to be my friend
in the
now.
middle of my boat.
Yeah, we're gonna
Kinda
find
have
him.
to
This
disperse
is
some
gonna
of it.
happen.
So if I'm going to be fishing by myself, I don't want to have the battery, which weighs 60 pounds, myself, and the trolling motor all in the back, so I kind of want to even the weight out a little bit. However, I can't have the battery in the middle with just this trolling motor wire because it's not long enough. So I got this kit on Amazon. Super easy. The connections are already made for you. You just got to connect everything together. And
King Kong Dog
tape
just
it
said,
up,
this
and
guy
you're-
just made me
and
put
you're
a
good to
boat
go.
in my
So
Amazon
all the
cart.
links that I use for
I
this
read that
boat
because
are going to
it's
be
hilarious.
in the description below. You can go check those.
These fucking inflatable boats are kind of dope, man.
Yeah, I'm a big fan after I've gotten a weekend in one.
I never knew what I was missing. Now I kind of want to save up and get the boat, and then we can do
Dude,
kayak
boat
and
gang. Boat gang.
Right, but you know what's so cool is like we can do that, and like we don't need anybody else. We don't have to go to any fucking cabin. We can just go. We
No,
can keep it in our
anywhere.
trunk.
We could go to Calhoun. We could go Lake of Isles. We could go literally anywhere we wanted to that had water.
Yeah.
Follow the very simple directions given to you in the kit. I did run into a slight problem. Once I had my wires connected, I went to attach everything to my battery box, and I noticed the red positive connector hole was too small and wouldn't fit on the red terminal. This really wasn't a big deal. I just cut out a very small section in the loop and spread the opening enough so the connector can fit over my positive terminal. The black connect fit just fine, and I did not need to cut that one. Once everything was connected, I tested the trolling motor and everything worked.
That's pretty smart. He's actually using a machine to inflate it too, like not a moron.
I thought this was genius. The boat for the trolling motor will inflate the boat.
Yeah. Why wouldn't it? That's so cool.
Okay, so I'm out here on the lake again, and this is actually my second time being out here. My first time, I really just wanted to get my fishing poles in the water and just kind of explore and test out the boat. So I'm out here again, and I gotta say I'm actually pretty impressed with how this boat turned out, considering it's an inflatable boat. And I was a little skeptical
That was way more
but
stable,
having
yeah.
this out a couple times, it really put those worries to bed, and I'm actually happy with how this turned out. I want to show you guys how this boat looks like on the water, but let me go ahead and talk about my setup first. I'm using a 55-pound thrust motor on this boat, and it actually works really well. I was a little worried about being an inflatable boat that the wind's going to kind of just throw me around on the boat.
It looks like the Dells with
not
those
really
rocks.
be able to control it, but this motor actually performs really well. I'm actually
It's
using
a river
the motor
valley,
the
sure.
entire time. Sometimes I'll throw my anchor out, but it actually works really well. I have every control that I need. It actually moves the boat at a pretty good speed as well for being considering a trolling motor. I did notice on my first time out being on the boat that the motor weighs about 27 pounds and it sags the motor mount quite a bit. So I did some research there, and I bought electrical pipes that are 1/2 inch long. I think they're galvanized. I extended the motor mount so that it actually goes through the oar holes. And this actually works really well. If you have a really heavy motor that's over 20-25 pounds, I definitely recommend doing something like this, be able to help support that motor mount. And it works really well. The cables go underneath my floorboard and up through the hole that I made into the middle console, and I hook up my battery there. Again, this works really well. The electrical battery box works really well. And I can pump my boat, I can charge my cell phone and whatever I need to be charged through this electrical box. Really happy with it. Once again, everything that I have in this video I will link in the description below. And if you have any questions or comments, post them in the comment section down below, and I will do my best to answer them. I'm also happy with the middle console here. This is not mounted to the floor. I can slide it around if I need to. It works great when I have 2 people on the boat. We can use it for storing our tackle box and using it kind of as a table. Also, it's optional too. I don't even need to have it in the boat. If I need to get more people, if I want to put my family in and have more floor space, I can just leave it out. Let's go ahead and take it out for a spin.
Look how serious he is.
It's making a tiny little lake.
Yeah. That's kind of rad. Yeah, sir, this is a no wake zone. Could you turn down to 2.3 miles per hour, please? I wonder how much of a
So
bit
this
that
is the
to
boat.
paddle
That's what it looks
versus
like on the
canoe.
water. Let's talk about the practicality of this
It's
boat.
buoyant enough, so probably really
Obviously,
not that
there's
much.
There's some disadvantages as well. Some of the advantages that we've already talked about, which is you can store this boat away when you're not using it. Another advantage is you don't need a trailer to take this boat to the lake. This is something you can store in your vehicle, in your truck, in your van. And the last advantage I would say is this boat is relatively inexpensive when you compare this boat to other boats. This boat is a 12-foot long boat. Comparing that to an actual boat, it is relatively cheaper than an actual boat. Now let's talk about some of the disadvantages. One of the main disadvantages of this boat, I would say, is the setup time. With 2 people, it took about 20 to 25 minutes to set this boat up and get it on the water. For me, that's really not a huge deal.
How long did you think it took you to get your canoe like from out of the package in the water?
10 minutes with air pump.
You didn't have any cool fucking floorboards and shit though.
Right. It was just hook the electric air pump up to it, let it blow up the chambers, bring it down to the lake, put it in.
How do I get my shop vac to the lake to pump that thing up? Like I'm gonna manually pump it.
I used a lithium-ion battery jump box that I had in my car and a power inverter, and I had an air pump. So I just plugged the power inverter into my jump box, plugged the air pump into my power inverter, and I had an inflated canoe.
Pretty dope.
Time was pumping up the boat, and maybe it's just my pump. If I got a stronger pump, I might be able to cut some of that time down, but that is something that you're gonna have to consider if you were to buy this boat. Another disadvantage I would say of this boat would be the longevity of this boat is uncertain. I don't know how long this boat's gonna last. I've only had it out a few times, but this is definitely something that you would want to consider if you were to have a boat like this. Now, would I recommend this boat? And the answer to that question is depends on the person, really. For me, I'm a casual fisherman. I like to go fishing maybe once, twice a month, and this is something I can store away when I'm not using it the majority of the time. If you're a diehard fisherman and you want to go fishing 2 to 3, 4 times a week, I just don't know how long this boat will last when you're constantly inflating it and deflating it 3 to 4 times a week. So that is definitely something that you would have to consider if you were to buy a boat like this. With that being said, I'm very happy with how this boat turned out. I think I'm gonna get a lot of fun out of this boat. That's it for this one.
This boat. It's a boat time. We got this boat. Yeah, dude, that's fucking rad. I'm pretty excited.
What is the name of the boat?
If you type in text, that's the company. That's what I got there. I think it's just called, here, I can find it. I just Googled it. Hold on. It is called the Excursion 5.
Oh, the Incursion. Oh, Excursion 5? Okay.
Yep. The Seahawk looks awesome, though. Mainly, just go to intexcorp.com and it has all of their stuff. They also do a lot of above-ground pools, it turns out.
Can you imagine trying to take one of these down a rapid?
No, I cannot. Okay, yeah, here we go. So this is, here, we'll pop this on here. This is their site. They have a lot of boats, man. See, and this is on their website. That Excursion 5 boat is $179. That Explorer kayak's only $119 on their website. Whoa, check this out, dude. Yes, please. Look at that. Look at that. Dude. Are you seeing this shit?
Wait, what? The hot tub or the cooler? The cooler.
That's fucking dope. And it has a lid.
Yeah, for like going down the river. Yeah. That's
well, but like
awesome.
even your kayak, you could put that on the back of your kayak, dude.
I'm in.
It would save like space in the kayak. Yeah, dude, check this shit out, dude. The Mariner 4 boat is like $290. Dude, you got robbed. Check that out. Brand new one from them, $119.
No, I was just looking. My boat is $300. I paid $250.
You had an Explorer K2, right?
Yeah.
It's
I'm
right
looking
there.
on their website right now.
It's right there. 119 bucks. I have it highlighted.
Oh,
This is
Wow.
Intex is the actual website. This is
that's their actual website.
Yeah.
That's funny. Yeah, so they must jack it up for retail. I didn't even know.
Yeah, I'm sure they do. Dude, the Seahawk boat is only $60. Are you fucking kidding me?
Oh, that's true too. Like I got it same day. I didn't have to wait for it to get shipped to me. I paid extra.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, that's fair.
Dude, look at this. Like a tiny little dude. This is $60. This is less than an eighth of marijuana, allegedly.
Are you gonna have an inflatable boat soon?
Yeah, I might have to. This is crazy. Mariner 4 boat is $300. Oh, that's kind of cool. Yeah, the excursion is so the boat you can get that boat that he made the trolling boat motor or whatever for $179. Oh, you know what though? They also say not available on all of these on their website. So these prices don't really mean anything.
Don't, don't, don't.
So they're just underpricing the market and acting like it. So
Yeah, that's what it looks like. But you actually have to. They're like, oh look, I can get this for cheap, but it's not available. If I want it now, I have to pay more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, nothing's available on their website. What a terrible website.
This is what it should cost. Now go pay twice that.
Yeah, no diggity. Well, all the China shut down for manufacturing. Yeah, that's probably fair.
Yeah, no way these things are made in America.
No, God no. All right,
eBay still has a few though.
Let's move on to VPN, shall we? I was promising people VPN stuff today, so we should do that, I reckon.
Go do it. I'll listen and laugh.
Well, you will. But we will we got to start out with something different first. So where the fuck? Yeah, so I was looking for some VPN stuff cuz we've been promising to get the VPN stuff. You want me to get on voice? Yeah, you can get on voice for this if you want. I don't care, Dan. Tovar, you were talking about speeds, and Dan will be here to talk about speeds. So I watched recently this podcast episode that had John McAfee in it, and he was talking about how VPNs aren't actually VPNs, and how there's a much bigger protocol you need to get it going. And so I was trying to find that podcast that I had heard that on, and I could not. I couldn't find it anywhere. So when I was looking, I did, however, come across this fucking hilarious uninstall video that he made a couple years ago that I just thought we should all watch because it's fucking hilarious. It cracks me up to no end. So this is after this dude killed somebody, basically, and then shows back up again. It's pretty fucking great. So this is a message from John McAfee, and then we will start with the VPN. Welcome to VPN Hour, baby. It's here. It has arrived.
Fuck. Send. Oh, hello there. My name is John McAfee. I'm the founder of the McAfee Antivirus Software Company. Although I've had nothing to do with this company for over 15 years, I still get volumes of mail asking, how do I uninstall this software? I have no idea. I really need to quit. As I said, I've had nothing to do with McAfee software for over 15 years. I've had more pressing things to do. But recent events have made me change my mind. I've had, over the years, many responses from users who are complaining about the difficulty in removing the software. I'd like to read you a few things. Holy fucking shit. I was drawing for like 5 hours straight on this marvelous drawing, and I had to do a big-ass scan that slows the shit out of my computer. It was McAfee, of course. My computer's always really fast, but that son of a bitch has to come fuck it up. Here's another. My free trial for McAfee, or however it's spelled, expired. When it expired, it blocked Pornhub. Fuck McAfee. Fuck them in their stupid faces. I hope they all get dick and cunt rot and die a slow, agonizing death for limiting my porn use to Xhamster. No one should have to use Xhamster. I tried one final time and got the Urban Dictionary definition for McAfee. McAfee, a barely passable virus scanning program that updates at the worst possible times. Tends to render your computer completely useless whenever it starts an update, which it doesn't ask to start, and you cannot cancel or pause. McAfee updates at horrible times, almost like the creators want you to die. So I finally remembered how to uninstall McAfee antivirus software, and I've asked my friend Bartholomew to walk you through the steps. This is my lab tech, Bartholomew. He's going to take you through step by step the process of uninstalling the McAfee antivirus software. But say hello, Bartholomew. Yes, so if you need me, I'll be over here, and good luck.
The procedure for removing McAfee antivirus software from your computer is as follows. First, make sure you have a full backup.
Yes, Bartholomew. Back it up. Back it up. That's right.
Yeah,
Very
John.
important. Back it up.
John, you can like that.
Sir, should I be reading the instructions for the Mac or PC? They're really quite different. Depending on which edition and version of McAfee's anti-malware software is installed on your computer, you may have to click on Remove, Uninstall, or a similarly named option to begin the uninstall process. When finished, reboot the system. John, are you getting this?
Yeah, yes.
You may have to download the McAfee Consumer Product Removal Tool. John?
Huh? Yes.
Does that sound about right?
Well, not completely, you know. I mean, it's always there. It's watching. It's been watching me for years. Every time I turn on the fucking computer, it's there looking at me. You know, something went wrong. 15 years ago, I had some beautiful software, and they took it over. I don't know what they did. It was like the time I hired that Bangkok prostitute to do my taxes while I fucked my accountant. It was terrible. The same fucking thing is going on now. But I know what to do. I know exactly what to do. Believe me, I've got a fucking solution right here.
Again, I wasn't able to find what I wanted, but I was able to find that, and I thought that was fucking ridiculous. All right.
And that's how a VPN works.
Yeah, and that's how a VPN works, kids. Yep, that's all we got. So, here, we'll just pop in, and we'll do, I got this really cool, where is it? Oh, God. So here is a little video real quick on a VPN. We got more stuff that we will go in depth on. Yada, yada, yada. But here we go.
The internet is where all the cool stuff is, but it's not secure by design. When you visit a website, your computer sends your data through your local network, through the internet service provider's infrastructure, and finally to the server where the website actually lives. All along the way, sinister eyes could be peering in at your activity. Out on the web, advertisers and spies can track your movements between websites by noting your IP address. Your ISP can sell anonymized metadata about you and your activities to whomever they wish. Thanks, Congress. And there are even threats closer to home. If you're on an unsecured Wi-Fi network, anyone could be watching. That's where a virtual private network, or VPN, comes in. When you switch it on, it creates an encrypted tunnel between you and a server run by the VPN company. Your data flows through the tunnel, so the ISP and anyone on your network can't see what you're doing. And because your data exits from the VPN server to the internet, you appear to have its IP address, helping mask your identity online. VPNs help get around censorship and region-locked content by spoofing your location. If you choose a VPN server in another country, you can make it appear that you're surfing the web from Germany instead of Milwaukee. That's great for streaming video and, you know, avoiding government censorship. For more on VPNs, like which is the best and which is the fastest, check out PCMag.com.
Alright, so that's just a really, like, abbreviated version. We have some more complicated ones that I found too, but, like, I'm not trying to, like, overload anybody or whatever, but, yeah. Dan, did you get invoice?
I'm in, yes.
Hey, what up? So yeah, like VPNs, baby. Talk dirty.
Well, first things first, I just wanted to say that for my qualification purposes, I am a former employee of Symantec Corporation, and I used to sell a device called Blue Coat Networking Proxy, which acts as a device which will intercept and actually decode encrypted traffic on the way between you and your destination. So let me just put that piece out there first.
So you were one of the people sniping data.
Exactly. Yeah, I worked for a company that, in fact, there are embargoes that prevent you from selling certain encryption technologies to foreign powers that are not friendly to us.
Mm-hmm.
And it just so happened that
why
some
is
companies...
that? Just because they're not friendly?
It's because they're not friendly and because we don't want to give them tools to enhance their encryption capabilities that make it more difficult for us to decrypt their traffic. But
okay.
So, for example, have you heard of the Great Firewall of China?
I've heard of it. I have no idea what it is, but I have heard of it.
So the Great Firewall of China is basically in the same way that we're talking with a VPN, that you sort of you're tunneling your traffic and you're sending it out to a remote server and then exiting out where that VPN server where their destination is. So if you're going to go to Germany or whatnot, in the case of China, for example, all of their internet traffic can't directly reach to the internet. So if I'm a Chinese citizen and I'm trying to get to google.com,
yeah,
I have to go
so
through...
you're talking about like their ARCANET, like how they can't really get outside ever for their connection.
Correct. But it's the same concept too with the VPN, because they're forcing all of the traffic coming from all locations to a collector point, and then they're examining that traffic and then sending it on to the rest of the world there. Okay. So that in and of itself right there, it's the VPN. People think that it's sort of this panacea for security, and they think that because you're going to be putting all your traffic out there and encrypting it in between, and you're going to be hiding behind a masked IP address. So I'm just telling you flat out, that's BS. Can I swear on this channel?
Yeah, of course you can fucking swear.
Okay, that it's bullshit, because there is so many different ways that the tech companies are observing your traffic. Did you know, for example, that with the tech companies, that they can, you could be in a VPN and you could be accessing from different IP addresses over time. They will look at certain metadata, certain information, user agent strings. They'll look at the way that your packets are formatted from your computer, that they can actually determine with a very high degree of accuracy who you are, regardless of whether or not you're on a VPN.
How does that, is that just because they look at like right before you go into the pipeline to Onion? Like, so like if you were going to use an Onion Blossom and then into a VPN, would they still be doing that? Because that's just your ISP doing it, right?
They can still verify a lot of information, because ultimately we as people, we tend to go to the same sites. We tend to go and do the same things online. We access the same data. We access the same email. We access, again, our pattern of behavior. That's the reason why artificial intelligence is kicking off so strongly, because they've been able to determine with a fairly high degree of accuracy these algorithms to be able to determine that this particular person is doing these particular things online, regardless of whether or not the old school methods of using the VPNs and try to protect against your data privacy. Yeah, that worked probably maybe 5-6 years ago. But nowadays, no. There's certain things you do protect yourself.
There still has to be a level of protection it gives, though, right?
There's a little bit of protection that it gives, but it only gives from the purpose of casually looking at your data. If somebody wants to get the information, they can. Because, for example, one of the weakest links that you have is between yourself and your ISP. In the same way that I talked about China, then them collecting the data and then sending it off to the internet, all of the cable providers, all of the ISPs, all of the individual subscribers sends their data to a central point. and that's at the internet service provider.
Sure.
Then they take
Kind
the
of
data,
like how
collect
whenever
it,
you
and kick
game,
it
it connects you through Chicago, even though you're in Minnesota.
Well, I mean that's just because of the way the internet works and the way that some of the major pipelines
But I'm just saying, like,
exist
everybody's
within-
going through a central pipeline that the ISP can control whether or not they're using a VPN.
Correct. Yes, because it would make no sense to give everybody direct access out. And it also allows the individual ISPs to be able to control how much bandwidth that they need to purchase to be able to support all of their customers. Because, you know, again, that you can't assume that every single one of your customers is going to go max throttle at any given point. So they will split the cost of that over all the subscribers. But again, this is from a technological standpoint, it's the same thing. In fact, when there was when Snowden came out and was talking about people collecting metadata and collecting information from the various cell phone providers, they just put a box in the data centers right at the cell phone carriers. So they were picking off the information before it even tried to, when you dialed the numbers and you were going to route your call, before the call gets routed to an external carrier, it was grabbing that information, storing it, and cataloging it.
That's fucked up.
Yeah, so everything.
Rusty Grammer said it's similar to electric grid, gas pipelines, etc.
Yeah, I mean, you have to deal with there's certain common infrastructure that only makes sense to be able to do it, because you wouldn't wire every individual subscriber directly out to the internet. You have to collect the data and then kick it off in an economical fashion. But it's the same thing that affects everybody's privacy, because first of all, if you remember, the first big push was everybody use encrypted websites, those HTTPS, right?
Yeah, that was such garbage.
If you don't see the lock, then you're not protected. Okay, great. But the thing with that is the way that Symantec and the previous company was called Bluecoat, but the way these devices work, Palo Alto Networks, Cisco, all of these companies have these same devices. And what they do is they will either intentionally expose to you and say, install this certificate in order to get out to the internet. And you go, what? Or maybe your ISP will send off a disk and say, hey, in order for you to get online, you need to install our client. So you install a client. What does the client do? It installs a certificate. And that certificate says that I now authorize my computer to see this remote server as authoritative to me. So if it comes back and says, hey, in order to get out to the internet, you need to encrypt your traffic, and here's the certificate you're going to use, it basically has broken the lock and opened it up to them, right?
Sure.
So it's, again, it comes down to the VPN is only as strong as its weakest link, and right now the ISP is the highest likelihood for them to be spying on you.
So literally where you're starting on the VPN is where you'd get fucked.
Yep, right there. So that you've got to look at it from a standpoint of what's the highest chance of success and the lowest cost of effort, right? Highest chance of success and lowest cost of effort is two places. First of all, at your computer itself. You could have a VPN all day long, but if somebody installs a piece of malware that can record or do screen capture and record your keystrokes, it's not protected. It's the same way that people thought that Snapchat was protected, that, oh, well, my chats and everything disappeared right away. Well, yeah, that's true until somebody uses a screen capture or uses a camera from a different phone and snaps the picture of the screen, right? At some point, this data needs to be presented to you.
Okay. Well, So they're like on the ISP end and the malware end, they do that, and then it doesn't matter where you're connecting because they're getting accurate information from the screens, right?
You got it. Again, they'll however they can intercept the unencrypted stream, and when you combine that or supplement that with the artificial intelligence data, which does human behavior profiling, they can have a 100% complete accurate picture as to what the hell you're doing. Use the AI to be able to determine a rough estimate as to what you're doing and if you're a threat or if you're a risk, or, in the case of like national security instances and terrorism, and then they'll target a smaller group of people. And then
King Kong Dong said that's how I got in trouble with Snapchat. Oops.
Exactly. Again, anybody who says, "Oh, well, that text message time bombs or that email address is only viewable by one person," at some point or another, it's got to be displayed on a screen, and somebody can do something with it. It's really the name of the game.
That's fucking nefarious, man. So, like,
I mean,
with VPNs, you said there was a point where they, like, because they used to work better than they work now, right?
correct. VPNs used to be a lot stronger, and that was back when it was harder for them to be able to inject themselves in between the data stream between your client and getting out to the internet. But now that you have all of these networking companies that are designed explicitly to crack open these packets, um, and again, the every time that they do an upgrade for SSL or these certificates, right? Because everybody always talks about things in bits, and they say, well, this is
Speaking
128
of
bits.
which, give some bits, guys. Give some bits.
Exactly. So if everybody wants higher security, donate more bits. So like they started with this 128-bit certificate, and then they went to a 256-bit certificate, then a 1024, and then a 2048, and so on and so forth. And so all of those expansions, in theory, what they're supposed to do is they're supposed to make it that if I capture the traffic, that it's going to take a regular computer or a group of computers years to be able to extract the data.
Sure.
But even so, that's assuming, hey, thanks for the 8 bits. Even so, that's assuming that you're using normal computers, the regular computers. Have you heard of quantum computing?
Yes. Yes, I have.
You have, okay.
Why don't you tell the listeners about it, though, just in case they haven't?
Quantum computing is basically a different method of processing data. So the way a normal processor works, you buy a Mac or a PC, or you have a server, or you've got something out on the internet. They use a different type of processor. A quantum processor can deal with massively huge amounts of data relative to what a regular processor has to do. Because right now you have to break them into little chunks. A quantum processor can actually handle all of this stuff right, as one big block of information. And so with a quantum processor, it means that the speed of decrypting this encrypted traffic has gotten significantly faster. I mean, by orders of magnitude faster. So even as it sits right now, the fastest or the best encryption that we can do right now will still be breakable by a quantum computer once they're more readily available. And if you're telling me that the government doesn't have labs with quantum computers, you're lying, right? You're absolutely lying.
So then what's the answer? Like, how do you, like, just don't use the internet? Or you're, like, because you're getting tracked or what?
The easiest way to be able to protect yourself when it comes to, if you've got something that you need to have privately, again, the only safe way to do it is to do it in person. Or the other method that we use too is that you can do certain levels of encryption to slow people down. My apologies. And that's the other thing too that's so great is people will use Gmail and they use email and they use other methods of email, and they say, well, my email's secure. I mean, it's HTTP secure between me and Gmail. Email is the least secure of all of the communication methods. Yes.
Yeah. Shout out to Dad's teleconference. you know what I'm getting at, but I'm not going to say it.
Yes. We're not going down that route.
I know, but I just wanted to throw that little grenade to you, buddy.
No.
All right.
So, email is, you should if you send an email to somebody, treat it as if it's a postcard, and everybody between you and your destination can read it.
With all email, you think?
All email.
I normally said secure mail by pigeon.
So if Gmail and other providers couldn't see the information, why do you get targeted ads that relate to the emails that you've sent and received?
Yeah. Oh no. You're preaching to the choir. I mean, like the shit I've seen is crazy as far as like even today. I guarantee you today at some point on my phone, I will see a fucking rubber canoe and I will see something about VPNs. Guaranteed. Ellie Mae said even my work email.
Absolutely. Yep. Work email, anything that uses that email protocol, it is. I mean, you can have encryption that exists, but again, encryption, all that is, it slows people down. If somebody's really motivated to read the information they're looking for, it's going to be possible to read it. And it blows my mind that it's very frustrating to note that. So the movie Enemy of the State, right? Do you remember that movie with Will Smith?
King Kong Dong says, "How do I get a booby picture without them tracking it?" Then
you remember take pictures
in person.
In person, yep. In person is the only way to do it. But the movie Enemy of the State, there was a big speech that happened with the guy who was the leader of the NSA, and he says, privacy is dead, my friend. Perhaps the only method of privacy is inside your head, and maybe that's good enough. And that's really what it comes down to. So Rusty Grammar, to address your comment and crack babies, part of that relates to if you comment on Facebook or interact with a Facebook post, they also will track if you move your mouse cursor over an ad and hover it for over a period of time. That's registered as a positive interest, and that will drive targeted advertisement.
Wait, what?
And yes, yeah, Facebook will
That's
track.
Fucked up, dude.
Yeah, they track your mouse movements. They track if you type something in a comment box and you erase it. That's part of your Facebook history. That's still tagged as part of your user profile. So
is it possible?
If you started typing,
is it possible that like they're tracking people for like hate speak and stuff that people are never sending?
Yes, absolutely.
That is fucked.
There's no doubt about that information. That is part of. It may not be part of the public profile that advertisers get access to, because Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all these tools, Gmail, everything like that. People say, well, I'm the consumer, I'm the customer. No, you are not the consumer, you're not the customer. You are the product that they are selling to advertisers. You are the product that they are selling to the government. You are the product that you're selling to companies that are gathering information. And if that's not terrifying to you, again, you have to go in with your eyes open, understanding what these tools are.
It's fucked up, but like I'm a 1984 Orwellian libertarian. It's not terrifying. It just seems like business as usual. It seems like it's progressed beyond the point of what I ever thought. Because again, like VPNs were something that to my knowledge still worked because they always used to. You know what I mean? Like, because when they first came out, I mean, like, especially like any kind of people that were doing any kind of like torrenting or like Windows MX or any of that shit, like Napster, like the protocol for it was interesting, but it makes sense that they would be tracking you as you go into the pipeline to go to wherever your proxy cloud is. That makes sense to me. Because why wouldn't they? You still have to connect. Like every time your computer connects to your fucking modem, that's them, no matter where you think the signal is going.
Yeah, again, the level of intelligence that they can use to generate a profile to determine who people are with relatively high accuracy. I mean, even so, some other people ask and they say, well, Facebook, they must be using the microphone on my phone because as soon as I talk to somebody about something, all of a sudden I got popped up with ads for that, 15 minutes later or the next day.
Rusty Grammar said, I don't have Facebook, but if I don't use Firefox Focus, I get ads for comedy shows, dirt bike parts, and local MILFs.
Oh, yes. Well, again, it's it'll look at I mean, people talk about their history. It used to be history and cookies and things like that were the tags that they were including. And now you've got entire consortiums of advertising.
I got to piss real quick. You keep talking.
Sure. Ad revenue is actually generated because you've got these companies that will share ad data and share intelligence between each other. So that's a lot of the times too, where you'll go to a page. Something happened just the other day. I was getting auto parts and I put something into the cart and then I said, yeah, I don't think I'm going to get it. And I switched off from there, and for the next couple of days I got, hey, you left something in your cart on, I don't know if it was Rock Auto or what it was, but it's like, hey, you left something in your cart, come back and buy it, come back and buy it. And again, it ties in with all of these pieces that are interconnected to each other. But to explain to you about the whole people thinking that Facebook is listening to your microphone, the point is that we have all of this artificial intelligence building profiles about various people. So the friend that you were sitting next to and talking to, hey, Rusty Grammar, thank you for the 30 piss bits.
Piss bits.
But the person that you were sitting next to and having this conversation with, and they said, hey, you'd really appreciate this inflatable canoe, right?
Yeah.
So if you're sitting next to Tovar...
Well, yeah, check this out. Wait, ready? Are you ready? On the count of 3,
Yeah.
we're just going to say canoe over and over again and see how many... Here's a science experiment, guys. We're going to do this. So what we will do is all of us are going to say canoe over and over again, and we're going to see how many people... Just track this, and we'll find out tomorrow how many people get canoe ads in their phone or computer. Ready, Dan?
All right, let's do
Here we
this.
go. Canoe, canoe, canoe.
Canoe, canoe.
Canoe,
Canoe.
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 Kayak,
Canoe.
canoe, kayak, canoe,
Kayak,
boat,
canoe.
boat, canoe,
Canoe.
water sports, canoe.
Trolling motor. Canoe. Fishing.
Canoe,
Fishing.
trolling motor, canoe.
Wisconsin.
33 canoe bits.
Canoe.
Thank Canoe all for all the canoe bits. I knew you guys canoe do it. Canoe do it? Canoe? Not ski do, but canoe. Jet ski, canoe.
Send canoes. Send canoes.
Yeah. Hey, sick dick. Let me see those canoes.
Ha ha.
Canoe.
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 Kayak.
Canoe.
Kayak, canoe.
Hey, what's canoe with you? Hey, check that out. We got 10 canoes over here. We got 33
Awesome.
canoe and 10 canoes. Canoe. Boat,
23 canoe.
One of those 3-letter agencies probably has me flagged canoe. Yeah. Peronis. Wild rice. I never get the canned brand. Canoe.
So let me I'll finish my quick thing, Earl, with Facebook and being next to another person and having ads pop
do
up.
it. Canoe. Canoe. All right, go ahead.
So, anyways, the way it works is that Facebook utilizes all sorts of information, including the GPS tracking in your phone. So if you have 2 Facebook users who are sitting next to each other or in relative proximity, you can make an assumption it's possible that they may have had a conversation about said product.
Like
so a lot of
canoe?
the times you'll get targeted advertisement for something that they were looking up, or they will get targeted advertisement for something that you were looking up, and they may not know as to why it was, right? They might just be a random ad for them. You were looking up, vacations to Paris or something like that, and they'll get advertisements for travel or vacation to Paris or something like that and have no idea because you didn't talk about it. Or you could have a conversation with somebody and say, hey, we were just talking about this as seen on TV product, and all of a sudden you're going to get targeted advertisement from that because both of you were one of you was looking at it, and Facebook made an assumption that since you were in the same geographic location and that you may have shared some same followers, that they can do targeted advertisement to you based on that. It's absolutely insane.
That's fucking nuts, dude. King Kong Dong says, next say dicks and see what comes up.
You want to see my dick come up?
You mean flesh canoes? Balls
Flesh
Dip
canoe.
says, FBI foils canoe plot in Twitch raid. Yeah, that's about it. Fucking Skynet is going to take over. It's already taken over. It already happened.
It's already here. I mean, again, it's already here. The question is how much awareness do you have of everything that is actually going on, and how much do you want to try to protect yourself or try to protect your privacy? Because at this point, everything that you click on is like, oh, accept our terms of service, accept our terms of service. We're going to share with our ad partners. We're going to do this. We're going to do that.
Look at how many people, like, even just today, I guarantee you there's people in the Discord right now that didn't read the terms of agreement when they clicked on that yes thing that I put in the room. You know, like in the Discord, you have to click like accept to get the rest of the server. And I guarantee you a lot of people clicked on that without reading it. We all do that. Everything we interact with, we're signing terms of agreement that in most cases nobody's reading. Do you read all of the terms and agreements, Dan?
I I don't read them in their extent, but I do read all of the major broad strokes when it comes to that.
So what do you do? You
Specifically,
just Google it to find out the broad strokes, or you just scan it?
I will scan it because, again, having worked in cybersecurity, I know a lot of the terminology that they utilize as far as explaining how they're intercepting traffic or what they're doing with your data in different ways, or reformulating, or again, there's a bunch of code words that you can kind of read into and get a better feel for it. But to be completely honest, again, the vast majority of the sites that I'm going to where I'm presented with these terms of service, it's a site that I either have to use or a site that I want to use. And that at that point, I just, again, accept part and parcel as to certain things that I'm going to do on there and certain things that I absolutely will not do on those pages because I don't want to provide that footprint to them.
If more people read contracts, no one would be married.
Yeah, well, and nobody would be on the internet at all.
Yeah, just think of the terms of service just for your ISP alone.
Balls Deep says, "What's your biggest red flag in TOSS?"
So, biggest red flag in terms of service just relates to being able to share with third-party partners, because a lot of the times there'll be definitions that say, "We protect your privacy. We will do this. We will protect your data. We'll do that. We may also share your data with a third-party partner." And the third-party partner may not have any of those controls or anything like that on their terms of service.
Right. Well, that's actually
so they
what,
might
like,
say, "We protect your data and we don't sell it and we don't target ads to you. But this third-party service that we work with, they might do that."
Well, and that was the big scam of like Facebook when it first started. What they were doing is they created, I remember reading about this when it happened, because they changed the way they did it right before Zuckerberg went on like at the House and like testified or whatever. But
Cambridge Analytica.
Yeah. They started their own company, and then they collaborated with a third-party company. So basically, all of the terms of services that you signed for Facebook, in that terms of service, they said that they would share it with a third party. And then the moment it gets over to the third party, which was also them, they were able to do whatever the fuck they want because there was no terms of service with that third party. There was only a terms of service to surrender the data over to that third party.
Yep, and there is some additional protection that exists right now. Actually, one of the largest things that's happening right now is called GDPR, or the General Data Protection Rules.
Okay.
GDPR is a European standard, or it started as a European standard.
I'm gonna Google this because I've never see. This is why I wanted to have you on, because you know way more about that. What is it? GDPR?
Yeah, GDPR. And so GDPR is incredibly explicit with what they can and cannot do with your data, and that's actually really critical, because again, they're talking about whether or not they can share certain things with third parties, what third parties can and cannot do with the data. It also requires them to provide certain things in more friendly language to be able to communicate that with you, so it's not all in legalese and double speak, which is what majority of these terms of services are.
King Kong Dog said, "I'm deleting everything and moving to the woods."
All right, Unabomber.
Yeah, right. Rusty Grammar just did a crazy Illuminati tentacle thing that I kind of like. Producer Mike says, "Did I miss the VPN?" We're literally talking about the VPN stuff right now. We moved on to terms and services, but we're still in the overall topic.
We're talking about data privacy.
Life. Okay, so this GDPR, is that something that's going to be held? Because I found I'll post this in show too. It's in the Discord already, but there's the legal information for it from the EU. So what's happening with that as far as integration in America?
Well, a lot of the individual states are actually starting to put their own standards. Like California data privacy is actually one of the most stringent in the nation. That's one of the rare things that I can actually get
what
behind.
The fuck? California?
Yes, California. It's one of the rare things I can actually get behind with California.
That seems weird and counterintuitive to me.
I know, and it's the land of the tech companies, and simultaneously they're talking about California residents having a lot of privacy rights that you wouldn't normally have. So that's
Canoe!
Also why. Go ahead.
Canoe. Go ahead.
Kayak. So this is also the reason why they have to identify whether or not the user is a California user or other states, because some states other than California are now adopting certain privacy standards as well. So, for example, here's a great example of this. If you use a VPN and you set your, not just changing countries, but if you use a VPN and send your traffic to present as if you're a California resident or coming from a California IP address, some sites will give you immediate access to be able to click to unsubscribe or cancel subscriptions versus that bullshit where they go, call our 800 number and talk to our representative to cancel your account.
So that might actually might be a very, very good utility for VPNs then. Right?
Yes,
that you can make it look like you're in California and then have access to that shit.
Correct. Yes.
What are some of the companies that you can do that with that you know of?
I'm just thinking of things like web hosting companies. There was one that I signed up for back in the day called 1&1, which they still exist. And they allow me to sign up and insert your credit card and get instant access to your page. And then within 2 days, I was like, this project isn't going to work out. So I want to cancel my 30-day trial. Oh no, you can't just go to their website and cancel. You got to call up and you got to talk to an agent. Like, are you sure that you want to cancel? Are you sure that is there any reason? Like, nope, just cancel me. Is there anything that I can do? Can I extend your trial to 60 days? Like, no, cancel my subscription. Okay, well, we're going to try to process this and I'll give you a ticket number and all this. So I was like, just cancel my fucking subscription.
Yeah.
And
I think that's like all the companies do that shit. Like Comcast is nefarious for that, but it's literally like they want it to be exhausting because if they can exhaust you, like a certain percentage of people then will not actually do it. They won't cancel it.
Correct. Yes, because if you
it's like the bank, it's like the bank when they charge you overdrafts. Like they'll make up overdrafts because 80% of the people will never call them on it. Like if you've ever had a fake overdraft and you go to the bank and you're like, hey, what the fuck is this? They'll be like, oh shit, yeah, and they'll reverse it like it's no big deal because so little people actually follow through on that they make money by doing it. It's the same thing here.
Yeah, and so that's one of the occasions too where a VPN can be very useful if you're presenting from a specific state. Now, a lot of the times in this case, you can't use it for something like, for example, if you try to go to a online gambling site and you use a VPN to present from a country that it's legal to do the online gambling versus the United States, you are playing with fire because if you win, say you get a decent win and you go to cash out that information and say, well, just insert it into my Bitcoin wallet. They'll go, hey, we need to verify your identity. So send a copy of your passport showing that you're from Montego or, Monaco, wherever. Right. And you can actually lose that money. Not only the money that you put in, but any earnings that you have on those online casinos.
It's funny that you bring that up specifically because I had an incident with that when online gambling became illegal here, right? There was a company called Bravado that was still doing it, and PokerStars was still doing it if you didn't live there, right? And so I switched over to this Bravado site and played, and I won something like $800. And I was going to take out the money, and then I was like, you know what? No, I'm not going to do that. Like, I just thought about it. I'm like, whatever. And so then I just kept playing it down, and in my head, I disconnected it with, like, money. And eventually I had, like, $1,200. And I was like, maybe I will check it. And then I'm like, no. And then a buddy of mine got busted, and all of Bravado just shut down. It was fucking hilarious. Yep. But it was the same thing where it was like, they'll let you, like, they know what you're doing. They'll let you go gamble as long as you're losing money. What the fuck is there to take?
Correct. Yeah, because they've already got your money when you make the initial deposit.
Right.
It's when you start have the earnings and you try to then take that money out. That's when the validations happen. At that point, you can put all the money you want in without them validating your identity. You can be an anonymous person from anywhere. But as soon as you want to take the money back out, they go, oh, hey, what's your passport? Give me your information. So it's very interesting how that works, that you can use the VPN to mask your identity, but at some point when you have a situation where it involves money, either loss of money or them paying you, all of a sudden they're going to get really, really picky about who you are and where you're from.
JJ's Blood Alcohol Content said that happened to me with pokerroom.com. Yeah, it was pretty big. Is online gambling illegal in Minnesota? It is indeed. It's illegal in all the country except for Vegas, I think. I think Nevada is the only state where online gambling is legal in America.
Yeah, I know some people will utilize, you can use cryptocurrency because if you tried to fund it using a credit card or trying to fund it using any type of bank transfer, that's regulated. But
they
if you
can still track that, like you're saying, they need like your verification of your identity to even Bitcoin it, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's because there are certain online gambling venues that will do tax reporting to the countries for the customers that they have. So they'll have a restriction about which countries that they can accept customers because they're reporting earnings and losses from these individual customers to the countries.
KYC says know your customer. Rusty Grammar asked, is this a byproduct of the Patriot Act? I mean, I don't think it is.
Yes.
The Patriot Act didn't help, but like that's not where this started.
It's not where it started, but the Patriot Act extended protections regarding. So there are certain things that the banks do now called. Oh, geez, I forget the acronym, but it's basically a suspicious activity report. SARS, yes, SAR.
SAP.
So a suspicious activity report is something that the bank will actually file with the government. So say you come in with $10,000 in cash and deposit it in your bank account, and they go, well, this guy has always had like, $50 in his account or something like that, and he just deposited 10 grand. Or if you have a transfer come in and then you take out $15,000 or whatever the amount is, if it's a large enough thing, they file what's called a suspicious activity report, or SAR. And it's not COVID, it's not SARS, it's a SAR. But
the second one is called SARS too, though, right?
that's when you get a second
Anomaly
SAR.
Forever says they do that every time with sums over $9,999.
Correct. And if you try to structure your withdrawals or deposits so that you're just under that cap too, they will also file a SAR against you, because structuring your deposits or withdrawals to try to go underneath a federal limit where you have to justify either to provide tax information or provide origin information for that money, that's illegal as well. So, but anyways, this is all about visibility, right? They want to see what you're doing. They want to see where you're doing it. They want to see how much you're doing it. And they're going to associate all of these things. Because again, there are tools within NSA, there are tools within the government now where they take your online profile, your ISP information, anything they've gleaned from you, anything that's public record, anything that's private record, meaning financial. They get access to all of your bank statements, they get your tax records, and put that complete picture together. So again, enemy of the state, where they pulled up a full dossier about like, oh, hey, who is this person? This is their job. This is what they do. This is who they know. This is how much money they have. And these are the number of deposits that they've made in the last, 3 years, right? That is real.
That's fucking terrifying.
I mean, it
becomes like Minority
what
Report, where it's like, it's just waiting for you to fuck up so they can get you for whatever they have.
King Kong Dong, you are a party to a crime if you were doing that to keep it under the reportable limit. But I won't tell anybody.
Except for everybody you just told.
Hey, everybody forget that.
Yeah, okay, cool. So, all right. Do you know any providers that allow port forwarding?
Port forwarding? So you mean if you're trying to do a service and not expose your IP address for running like a web server or some sort of gaming server?
It's from producer Mikey.
I know that's the question though. So port forwarding is be like, Corey, if you've got your router, it's got the firewall and it prevents people from the outside coming in.
Yep.
But you could turn on port forwarding that would say, if something comes in on port 80, for example, send it to this internal IP address or my server.
I know how torrents work. Allegedly.
Well, torrents aren't quite the same thing. I mean,
well, you have to port forward to get the speed.
Well, it's all
like NAT shit.
I'm not familiar of any VPN providers that allow port forwarding on the inbound side, but I haven't
don't know
really
how they
researched
could, because like if they were doing that, you would think it would cut down on their. Because also like with cable and stuff, a lot of those IPs aren't static anyways.
Yeah, and that's the other interesting thing too. You kind of touched on something that VPN related that a lot of people don't even think about, and that's DNS. So DNS would be, if you take a website and go www.google.com, it translates it into an IP address. So like 192.168.25.112.
Whoa,
right?
why'd you give him my
That's
IP,
an IP address.
motherfucker? Why'd you give him my IP? Just kidding. Canoe.
Was that?
Oh, I was just flipping out like you gave them my IP address.
Yeah.
Crack Babies wants to know, what about cash apps like Cash App, Facebook Pay, or Venmo?
Well, the question is two things. First of all, if you're using any apps that have got a record where you've got the transaction, again, they have to record those transactions for federal tax purposes. Anybody who transfers funds like that, the only truly anonymous method to do it is to utilize cryptocurrency. And the thing is that a lot of people utilize cryptocurrency
because of the way people use it.
Those terms of service in Venmo, if you read them, they have the right to refuse any transaction on there that they deem suspicious.
More importantly, if you look deep within Venmo, they're owned by PayPal. You should look through PayPal's terms of services because they're fucking disgusting. Like Venmo. So this is something about Venmo that's really crazy, right? Is that in Venmo's terms of services, there's some kind of authorization for the parent company, which is PayPal. And in PayPal shit, like PayPal's terms of services are way crazier than Venmo, which means everybody on Venmo, like we were saying earlier, they transferred over to the other company and then they're not applicable to that.
Yep. Again, it's that transitive terms of service that they utilize. I'm looking to a couple of other comments here. So
here, I'll read them. Hold on. Here, I'll read them and we'll get caught up and we'll just go and then we'll go from there. All right. Okay. So let's see here. I usually put large amounts of cash in my account over 3 stages, and you're saying that they see that. We talked about port forwarding. Well, it was like that 8 years ago. It's just casino winnings from a Minnesota casino. Yeah, that's fine. We get to that. What would the address be in IPv6? Anomaly forever.
So IPv6 is.
Yeah, what is IPv6 for people that don't know?
Sure, there's IPv4 and IPv6. IPv4 is it's basically
the internet papilloma virus.
Internet Protocol versions 4 and Internet Protocol version 6.
What version are we on now?
We're on a combination of both IPv4 and IPv6.
Crazy.
But the thing was that IPv4 is supposed to be superseded by IPv6. But if you go ahead, Corey, take a Google search and look for IPv4 versus IPv6 to look at the differences. So
IPv4 streams it.
Well, IPv4 is significantly easier for you to understand because all it is it's done it in numerical values. So it's a set of 4 numbers separated by periods. So again, 192.168.1.25 is the example of a IPv4 address.
Holy shit, dude. IPv6 is like 1,000 times larger.
Exactly.
Wow. So, holy fuck, dude.
But the reason why they're doing that is because we're running out of IP addresses.
Yeah.
Producer Mikey, we are actually running out of IP addresses, but the reason why is because there were a lot of people who were given large blocks of IP addresses that they shouldn't have been given. They didn't have justification for it. It was like
who?
Some small company would go out and say, "Hey, I need access for a bunch of public IP addresses," and somebody would go, "Okay, here's a block of 1,024."
That's crazy.
No tornadoes and IP camping.
Yeah.
Canoe.
Yeah. Yeah. So people would camp on these IP addresses because they're very valuable process. And
is that
so
kind of how people
actually
were like .com parking for a while?
Yeah, absolutely. That was they would speculate on the value of certain properties, whether it be a DNS or the IPv4 address. IPv4 addresses, sorry.
Let's see. PayPal is psycho with fees. Yeah, that's true. Here, I'm just going to try and catch up. PayPal is crap. They own eBay as well and charge you fees, blah, blah, blah. IPv4 will live forever. They said we would run out of addresses years ago. And then Slaw says we were supposed to run out of IPv4 addresses 15 years ago.
Correct, but they're forcing people to give up them, and they're reclaiming quite a few of those addresses from the large tech companies. Even Microsoft was forced to give up a bunch of IP addresses that they've been camping on for years and years.
We were talking to No Diggity Sinister Mind. Sinister Mind is also a tech person, so we got the tech. The tech is here.
Yeah,
Canoe!
I'm No Diggity One.
Canoe!
I'm No Diggity One, aka Daniel. And just for clarification, again, qualifications. I've been in the tech sector been a system administrator since I was 15 years old, and more recently, again, on the cybersecurity side, I worked for Symantec / Bluecoat, and for a couple of years. So I know a lot of their dirty secrets.
Yeah, I like that. I like that you're there. So okay, so right now they're just doing a hybrid of IP4 and IP6, just working together. What happened to IP5? What's wrong with IP5?
A lot of the times these standards they'll skip things. It's like when they skipped to version 3 for the Linux kernel, right?
Producer Mike says sysadmin here too. Sinister Mind says software engineer. There's a lot of techies, guys.
Techies are good.
King Kong Gong said, "Can these fuckers find me through Twitch?" Yeah, they can find you through anything.
Of course, anything it's loggable. But again, you also have to think about where's the simplest way to get information about you at the ISP level. Who's your ISP? It's probably a major carrier, and it's probably somebody who's got an agreement with government and or third party advertisers
Fuck
and
you,
or anybody
Comcast.
else. Comcast / Xfinity, the one that loves to they love to sell out really well.
They like, I mean, like Comcast and Cox invented the selling data game, man. It's crazy. Like the
Soon
shit
to be
Cox
CenturyLink for me. They all do it.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying, like Cox Cable and Comcast specifically. I mean, they wrote the fucking book on it, man. They were doing this shit for years before people were just talking about doing it. Cox Cable specifically, the shit that they did is crazy.
Yeah, well, again, it's all of the ISPs have learned that they can monetize the information, and in some cases they don't necessarily allow direct access to their client data, but what they will do is they will take the information that they glean from their customers, package it up, and then sell it to people as a product. So that's, I mean, again, NSA got in big trouble because they were putting their information or their servers directly inside of Verizon's data centers.
Yeah.
But what they can do is that you look at what's in there in the budgets right now for all of the federal government, the NSA and FBI and all the other 3-letter agencies pay stupid amounts of money to all of the carriers, AT&T, Verizon, whatever. I think those are the only 2 that are left, right?
Yeah.
But they pay all of that money to get access to this data that the company itself will package up and send to them, versus requiring them to have their own servers and glean the information or intercept the information, which is apparently more palatable, ?
Rusty Grabber just wrote, quote unquote, sinking my hard drive in the river right now.
Yeah, you can put it next to the trolling motor and the wood floor from that inflatable boat.
They'll sell all your info. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Okay, so I want to ask you this stuff. So as somebody that knows security and knows, like, do you have a VPN?
I do have a VPN. I don't expect it to do much.
Why do you have a VPN then, knowing that it doesn't do much?
I have a VPN because I'm trying to keep the casual viewers from being able to see the information. You have to kind of, again, look it up.
Define casual viewers.
I mean somebody that a script kiddie, some kid who downloaded a tool off of the internet, quote unquote hacking tool off of the internet. Try to keep
Producer
those.
Mike
average
says he's
people.
hiding porn.
We'll share it with some of us. Share some of it with us. Jeez.
No, I think he was implying that's why you have a VPN.
Oh, I thought you were offering. I was like, come on, send it over.
Don't say that, man. They're gonna flood you down.
Oh crap. But yeah, the VPNs.
Ellie Mae just said, learning about VPNs and the lack of help it does makes me feel even less secure now. I feel so violated.
Well, again, VPN, it's a fun party trick to be able to utilize things like the California cancels.
Yeah, I mean, so my VPN, I use a VPN. One, I actually, prior to this conversation, I thought it did a little bit more than it does, apparently, which is fine. I mean, like here's the thing. I accept your expertise. You know way more about this than I do. VPNs used to work differently. They used to be okay. But the thing that I really like personally is regional locks. It gets you around regional locked content. For instance, I've been following the LG Twins, and the Korean baseball organization has them regionally locked. So I have to connect from Asia if I'm going to watch that free content.
Yep, and the BBC was doing that too. The problem is that now the BBC caught on to everybody using the BBC player with a VPN, and now what they'll do is they'll do one of two things. They either ban VPN IP addresses, because again, in the same way that you only get a limited block of IP addresses, these VPN providers only have a certain number of IPs that they can use as your exit point.
Sure.
Or they'll start to require some sort of login or validation. I know with the BBC, you actually have to pay a license fee for every TV that's in your house. And so there's some sort of login password with that. So again, it's very helpful for certain areas that don't have that type of authentication, that can get past the casual locks. Some carriers, some providers will block the VPN IP addresses as they find them out. But yeah, again, I think more than anything else, the VPN is useful for entertainment than it is useful for personal privacy.
What is your, like, who do you use for your VPN?
Let's see here. I always forget I always forget the name when I'm because it's just always on.
You have yours always on?
Yeah, I always leave it on. VPNs are kind of interesting too, because there are certain VPNs that will. You know, to be completely honest, I don't think I have the VPN installed on the computer that I'm calling you from. So I use
really
Nord
funny.
personally. Nord is what I use. I like Nord VPN just because the speed.
Proton VPN.
Okay. Why did you pick Proton?
I picked Proton VPN because I also utilize them for email services. They are a Swiss-based company, which means they are not required or compelled to behave with the federal government here in the United States.
Okay.
And yeah, I mean that's really really for me. I mean, I also utilize their email services.
Google accounts would hate that.
Well, Google accounts may not be happy with it, but to be honest, for the most part, most services won't block you from accessing a VPN service because, again, Google and Twitter and Facebook and all the major social media companies have got their backup methodologies. If you're not making it easy for them by just coming from the same IP address every single time, which you would if you were using it without a VPN, they're just utilizing their other methods to be able to determine that you are who you say you are and then use that to track your activity.
So what steps can people do that, like, maybe they don't know that can keep them safer? I mean, obviously, like, because again, I know you as one of the, like, you know more about computers than most people I know. I maybe know 2 or 3 people that are on level with you. Like, what are things that you do to keep your info safe, or do you just not care? Because I feel like you understand it's a lost cause and you don't really seem to care at all.
I mean, if there's certain things that I don't want people to be able to associate with my personal profile, I have some computers that I will utilize for only a specific purpose, that I don't do general purpose web browsing with, that I don't do my everyday stuff with. And I will also use those or utilize those only when I'm on a public Wi-Fi service or something that is not tied to my physical address.
So a hacking laptop. You have a fucking hacking laptop. That's what you're saying?
It's not a hacking laptop. It's just a privacy laptop.
Yeah, Producer Mikey says, don't use free VPNs.
Correct, because if you look at the terms of service, they are utilizing your ability to have a quote-unquote secured connection between you and their endpoint, and they're selling your information. They are selling you out in the name of, well, we're protecting you from having your ISP see what you're doing. Okay, that's great, but who are you selling my information to on the side?
Anomaly Forever says, how far do you have to drive to get that laptop?
Oh, it stays with me, but again, it doesn't get powered on unless I'm in a position where it's not going to share its information. Because
you run Windows on
that's
that
the other
laptop?
one too, is that you're having your devices just in general exposes you to other forms of tracking. For example, in addition to Wi-Fi, there's Bluetooth, right? So you've got all these devices out there that have got Bluetooth that are constantly scanning for other Bluetooth devices. The Bluetooth hardware address that's associated with your phone, with your laptop, with everything, all of those are fixed. You don't change those. You can't change those. So that meaning it's something that they can track you off of. So if you walk your phone, you can have your Wi-Fi turned off, but if your Bluetooth is turned on because you're using it for your car headset, if you walk past enough people that are scanning Bluetooth information, somebody's going to have a client that's grabbing information. They're going to track where you geographically are. So, again, at some point, you just have to accept that these things are going to happen. And if you want to maintain that level of privacy, you have to be doing things offline, not digitally, nothing wireless. Or just again, go back
so
to
is
pen and paper.
Is hardwire more secure?
Hardwire isn't really that much more secure because all of these devices are designed to actively scan out or search out a wireless network. And not only that, the switches that they use for turning these things on and off are soft switches, meaning you cannot hit a switch and physically prevent it from broadcasting or disconnect it from its antenna. Because remember, back in the day, you used to have a hard switch to turn things on and off for airplane mode and things like that. Now everything is a soft switch that you can use a function key to turn it on and off.
Sure.
But it also means that a piece of software can also override that setting. So that's again where it comes down to a malicious actor getting a piece of software or getting you to run a piece of code on your computer to turn your Wi-Fi on or to actively broadcast on your Bluetooth or whatnot.
I've seen an experiment where they actually had two phones shut off and went on a tour of New York, and both phones data logged the entire time they were out. And as soon as they were connected to the internet, because they had them connected to like a gray box so they can monitor what the phones were putting out. As soon as they were turned back on and had a Wi-Fi connection, they immediately tattled on everywhere he had been.
Yep.
What kind of phone? Was that Android or Apple?
So they did it with an Android and an Apple phone, and basically what they did is they had one phone.
Find that link. I want to watch that. That sounds fascinating.
What was it? I got to remember what it was because it was a while now that I saw it. I'll do some Googling and see if I can find it. But basically, one phone had their Wi-Fi shut off in airplane mode, and one phone was powered off completely, and they both tattled.
Yep, because nothing is truly off unless the battery's pulled, and you can't pull the battery on those either.
Is that why you can't pull the battery on smartphones?
The reason why you can't pull the battery in smartphones is because from a packaging perspective, it makes the phone thicker to support you the ability to take that battery out. So everybody's demanding thinner and thinner phones and more sleek phones, and as you do that, everything becomes non-removable or it's glued in.
Plus,
what about like some kind of casing that blocks signal?
Well, I mean, you can put. See, a lot of people assume that you like, oh, well, just put it in a bag of chips or put it in a tinfoil bag or something like that.
Or a Faraday bag.
A Faraday bag is the proper way to do it. If you don't do it correctly, you're getting false sense of security because you can have
a Faraday bag would work though.
Yes, if you have a properly designed Faraday bag, you can use that to block signals. Yeah, staying waterproof is another reasoning behind sealing everything up with epoxy and glue.
My producer Audrey found this link. She's going to post it up in chat.
Cool. But yeah, and again, we're in a terrifying world out there that if you do anything digitally, for the most part, at some point or another, rusty grammar, burner phones don't exist anymore. Do you remember back in the day when you could go to Walmart and you could buy a burner phone that would come preloaded with minutes and you didn't have to register anything to it? You're just like, hey, I got my phone, I'm going to use it. And then enough burner phones were utilized for quote unquote illicit activities, which in reality it was because they couldn't track the information that was going on and they wanted to see and hear everybody's phone calls. And that's when burner phones became illegal. That's when they stopped doing it. Then you have to register, and it's just like having a cell phone contract.
Yeah, I mean that's like gross. So then, okay, but then so when it comes to just being conscious about security, you just are saying fuck it because there is no secure anything.
I'm saying at this point that I have to assume that anything that I do online or a big chunk of anything that I do on my computer, at some point somebody would be able to find it out. And I've
But do you think that's also true? Like if you're doing some kind of weird fucking software, like let's say you're doing like FreeBSD or like a deep like Linux version.
I mean, that's less likely to have hooks in place for people to be able to hack off of it. But the problem that you have with open source is that open source is reliant on the trust of the people who are developing the code and the people who are developing the software that you install. It also, when you have Linux-based software, people are updating stuff, I mean, daily, right? Some people update, a couple times.
Yeah, I was gonna say
during
daily sounds slow. I remember when I was first running Debian, it was like every time I turned that thing on, it was fucking 7 updates.
Exactly, and that purpose alone is the reason why you can't necessarily rely on it, because there were evidence, or there were situations where people would dump hacked code inside of a repository for a very popular Linux-based product, and it wasn't detected for years.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. Nobody's looking for it. Jules
Yeah,
said VPN is for entertainment value only, is what I'm getting out of this. I don't think that, but it isn't as secure as you think it is. And like, it can add a little bit, but the main thing is it's to get around regional, like, geo tracking, basically.
A VPN is like a padlock. It is not a reinforced steel door.
It's like the lock on your front door. It could be bashed in, but it's just a suggestion.
Yep.
Also, that link is up. They were Google phones. An Apple phone wasn't used, but the link is in the comments.
Sure. I'd be interested to see that experiment with an Apple. I bet it's the same thing. It's just interesting.
Absolutely. Because, I mean, it's all Google tracking you anyway.
Right. Well, but like Google tracking fucks up with the iPhone sometimes anyways, because those two companies don't play nice together.
Yeah, but if you have Google Maps on your phone, it's telling Google everything about you.
Right, but a lot of people just have Apple Maps.
Well, that's dumb. Apple Maps is terrible.
It really is. It's a terrible fucking map program.
Anomaly, you got it right on the head right there. Locks are only to keep honest people honest.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong. I've heard that before too. But VPNs are like, I don't know. It's hard for me to think that they're not doing anything. Like, they have to be doing something.
So, okay, so there is one thing I will say, and if anything else, I'll make you happy about one thing that I can offer up, and that is called encrypted DNS. Encrypted DNS from a privacy standpoint is one of the best things that we have in our arsenal today. And what encrypted DNS is it's a new protocol that they are launching that allows you to have an encrypted session between you and the DNS, the one that resolves from the name google.com to the IP address to get you to the destination. Now, what the encrypted DNS does, it prevents your ISP and prevents a lot of the spying in between your client and the destination. Because if a lot of the times these decryption that they have or that they do will be based on the resolution of the name or the resolution of the IP address. It says, hey, I know they're going to be going to this site. This site is interesting to me. Maybe I'll try to capture and decrypt that traffic.
I have a question.
Yeah, hit me.
How would running one of those DNSs affect like gaming traffic? Because I have my DNSs set up here at home to run gaming as fast as possible. Would that slow down a lot of your traffic by just running the whole house off one of those secure DNSs?
Encrypted DNS, when you think about what it actually is, so with a VPN, you're talking about a significantly greater amount of traffic that has to go through a pipe and be able to be downloaded. So if I go to a web page and the web page is 10 megabytes in size between the images and the content, right? It means that I've got to download 10 megabytes to go through an encryption and a decryption channel to actually get to me. So that adds lag or latency. But if I'm doing encrypted DNS, the only bit of information that I'm actually encrypting between me and the destination is a little teeny tiny snippet, maybe 60 bytes of information, maybe up to 1 kilobyte. Even on the top side would be a ton. And so 1 kilobyte versus 10 megabytes worth of information needs to be transmitted on that encrypted channel. So from a latency standpoint, I would say that encrypted DNS is going to be minimally impactful. I mean, we're talking about microseconds, not milliseconds.
Right, and that's why I don't ultimately run a VPN. That's because I would want to run a wired one, and I don't have fast enough internet.
So if you want privacy, look into encrypted DNS. If you want to do entertainment and see region-locked content, look into a VPN. If you want to, again, keep the casual hackers away, run a VPN. Otherwise, just watch what you do on the internet.
Producer Mikey says open DNS.
Yeah, I believe OpenDNS might be one of the ones that's actually doing the encrypted DNS. You need a specific web browser to support it. And that would be, for example, I know Chrome has got that. Was it Chrome or Firefox? But there is a test version that's currently allowing the ability to do encrypted DNS. It is very beta right now, and the ISPs are not happy that it's coming out. When the ISPs are mad, that tells me that we're doing something right.
What do you mean? Why are they mad?
I'm running VeriSign's DNS. That's bad.
Yeah, VeriSign used to be owned by Symantec. I'm just saying.
The only reason I did it is because I just took a list of DNSs and ran them until I found the fastest one, and that seemed to be the one that gave me the less latency and the fastest speeds.
Yeah, again, your ISP is going to try to send you to their local DNS server because then you don't have to get out to the internet to resolve names.
Right, I had to buy my own modem to get around that.
Yep, exactly. Because again, they're going to try to force the traffic in the direction that they want to see. Install Kaspersky for yeah, Kaspersky, the one that's got ties to the Russian government. Sure, let's do that.
Hey, if it gets me faster on like Forza, sure, I'll do it. I'll let the Russians know what I'm doing. I don't care.
Yeah, you got pole position, comrade.
I don't. The thing is like I'm not doing anything that nobody else is doing, and if they're gonna come get anybody, they're gonna come get you. So like, just live your life and don't be an idiot.
You know, that really was what it comes down to. If you're doing something that you believe to be an illicit act or something that may put you in personal or judicial harm, think twice about what you're doing, because that sort of thing is tracked, can be tracked, will be tracked, and with the amount of information, think of the NSA. The NSA has got a massive data center. When I mean massive data center, I mean the NSA is the largest consumer of disk drives on the planet.
That's
and
crazy.
They also and these exist in a couple of major data centers. And when I was talking about picking off information in flight, a lot of these major data centers are located along the paths of fiber optic lines that go between. So now they're basically doing hubs where they are collecting information that is in flight. They're taking a copy of that information as it passes by, and they're recording it. And it doesn't necessarily mean that today they can decrypt the information with what they have. You know, again, it might require them to send it through quantum computing or through another methodology, but they're still recording that traffic as it passes by, and they're categorizing it, and they're making it searchable, and they're making it, you can go back and replay that traffic, and you can again, it's unbelievable stuff. But
Canoe,
as unbelievable as it is, Canoe, that it is truly what is happening, and you just have to accept that is part and parcel for operating on the internet. And if that bothers you, you got to accept it.
So but like, okay,
ran out of thoughts.
Like, so what do you do? What do you do? What do you do? You just don't? You just do your separate computer on a public access and that's it?
Separate computer on a public access, and you make sure that you don't go to the same public access all the time too. It's so two things. Ran out of thoughts as far as international data trunks. The point is that if the data is passing inside of the sphere of the US controlled internet functions, yeah, they're copying everything. No doubt. If you're sending data from China to another place and it passes through us on the way there, we're grabbing that information. It just is what it is. And yeah, let's see here. I'm just looking. Oh, Alexa. So, Corey, do you know much about Alexa and these smart assistants?
Alexa specifically is the worst of them. That's what I know. Like They monitor
He is not your friend.
everything. Like, it's crazy. Like, even and as an Apple user, like, Siri is pretty evasive, but like Alexa, like, because of the way that it interacts specifically with Amazon, it gets fucking crazy.
Well, yeah, it has to have a constantly open microphone to listen for the wake word. Now, in theory, they say, well, for privacy purposes, the wake word, blah 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 blah. But what they don't tell you is that they are also sending snippets of the recordings or actual full recording sessions from Alexa into private contractors. So somebody from India is listening to a conversation that came up in the wake word because maybe something was flagged as interesting, or maybe Alexa didn't understand what you were saying. Oh, I'm disturbing her. Maybe your Echo, right? Maybe your Echo didn't understand what you were saying, and therefore send that information over to some contractor in India who has no restrictions on what they can say and do as far as privacy rights are concerned. And now all of a sudden your sexy time, where you said something where it thought you said the wake word, all of a sudden now becomes a part of their data set.
Alexa, beam me up. That's how it works, though. It's fucking crazy. All right, well, hey, thank you so much for doing all this, man. Thanks for breaking all this VPN down. A lot of people have been asking me about them, and it's interesting. I learned a lot today, too, because I thought that they were more effectual than they are because they used to be.
Well, I think the two pieces to that relate to, obviously, the companies that offer the services. They want to be able to sell those services, and they sell them at a premium, because look at the reaction for people in the chat, right? Saying, I had no idea that it was that bad, or I had no idea that my privacy was that in jeopardy. Bulls, thanks so much for the 100 bits.
Yeah, I think the privacy being in jeopardy was always going to have a thing. Like, I mean, it was always going to be what it is because they made our privacy the product.
Correct. Yes, you always remember that when you're dealing with social media, when you have something that is quote unquote free out there, free doesn't exist. Oh, we got some hype going here.
Yeah, start another hype train. A tech hype train.
That's right. It's all about the tech. But yeah, if you have something that they offer as service as free, they're getting something for it, because electricity ain't free, internet bandwidth isn't free, servers aren't free. They got to find a way to monetize that. So that's there's something that they're getting from you being on their platform. But yeah, I'm happy to be here anytime. So if anytime you want to do any type of tech chats, let me know. I'm sure I can make it happen.
No, I mean, this has been very, very illuminating, and it's making me think I shouldn't throw away my old laptop. That's what it's making me think.
Well, again, the old laptops, as long as they have enough functionality to be able to load up some of those web browsers, yeah, they're very useful for those purposes. And having a hard switch to turn off Wi-Fi, having a hard switch to turn off Bluetooth, or not having Bluetooth at all, sure.
Yeah, my old laptop doesn't even have it at all.
Yeah. So and some other people say, well, what about Chromebooks? Because Chromebooks are cheap laptops, but they're even worse because they are directly tied in. There's all sorts of terms of service with things like the Chromebooks and whatnot, where you're already opting into giving or sharing all that information to Google right off the bat. They're the worst offender, I'd say, in the tech world.
Do you have any major carriers or companies that you refuse to go to because of their terms of service?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a big fan of Verizon. Now, unfortunately for me, I have to use Verizon because of work. But I think Verizon is most in bed with the federal government. They have some of the largest contracts for telecommunication services.
Big Brother has the best signal.
Big Brother does have a very good signal, but they are probably the most morally sketchy companies out there. But Again, but the unfortunate thing too is that we can't even vote with our dollars too, because you've got various providers, certain areas that only certain carriers have signals, and also look at the cable monopoly too. So
You know what
I
it reminds?
hate
You know what it
Xfinity.
reminds me of? It reminds me of Battlestar Galactica, where like the only ship was the one that wasn't integrated into the network.
There you go. I think it's a very poignant message, and it's very applicable to everything that's going on today. But you you have no choice when it comes to certain things. Like again, either I go with a really crappy signal, or I get my Xfinity Comcast here that I pay money to a company that I really dislike every month because I need it for my job and I need it to get online, and I can't just say, hey, I'd much rather have this other fiber company run a line to my house. Well, no, they can't use our poles. Well, why? We don't allow anybody to use our poles, except for the franchised company that's allowed here. Well, it's a franchise company, Comcast. Okay, just looking at chat here to catch up real quick.
Yeah, catch it up.
So, are we better off destroying our old computers versus recycling them? Recycling computers, the process that they use for recycling computers is very inconsistent. There are a lot of times where people will buy a used computer, right? They'll buy a used computer and it'll still have the old user's data on it.
Oh, I've seen that all the time. I actually bought a computer for a buddy of mine, and because he didn't know anything about computers, he wanted my help, yada yada, right? So I bought him this IBM laptop it was like off market of like Facebook, and like the computer not only had all the original user's data, but it didn't even have a fucking lock code. Like I literally just turned it on, pressed power up, and had access to everything they did.
I've had situations too where somebody's gotten a laptop used or through a third party.
22 seconds of that hype train, guys. Let's go. Just kidding.
Yeah, they had a used computer, and we actually reached out to the old owner and said, hey, by the way, wherever you put this computer, sold this computer, or recycled it or donated it, they never wiped the data. So I'm not stealing your information, but just an FYI, you just know that this is out there. And yeah, so the only real way to securely do that is to use an erasure tool. There's a boot disk or a USB disk you can pop in the side and use a secure erase on it, or to physically destroy the drive. That kind of goes up to another myth too. Do you know about the whole you have to erase a drive 7 times for it to be secure?
I have heard that. I also know it's bullshit.
False.
That it's absolute BS. I actually worked within my job sphere. One of the companies that I've worked with is Kroll OnTrack, and OnTrack Recovery is one of the big companies that actually recovers data when somebody drops a laptop in a lake. A lot of times they're the ones who are recovering that data. But they have there are a few different. If you look it out there, it is out on the internet. But there are some data recovery companies that have got a bounty that said, if we erase a drive once, go to a secure erasure 1 pass on it, and you recover any data, we'll give you, I think it's like $50,000
What
or
up,
$100,000.
JBTV? Thanks for the subscription, brother. Good to see you.
Yeah, thanks for the sub. Thanks for the 2 months. But yeah, if you do that, you can't, if it's been erased or wiped with all zeros on 1 pass, with today's technology, there's no way to be able to recover that data.
Yeah. Well, all right, Dan. We're running out of time. Thank you so much for doing this. And like I said, it's great. There was an old disk that had DoD disk cleaner on it. Would write to the drive 8 times to erase data. Was that safe?
That is safe. Yes. If you do a multiple pass erasure where you write over multiple times, I mean, even if you write over 1 pass, it's good. But if you want to sleep better at night and do it 7 times, that is the current Department of Defense standard.
Okay. Shogoth says, I erased my HDDs with a 30.338 Lupa.
338 Lapua is that's a good round. That's a real good round. Strong.
All right. Well, thanks so much, buddy. I really appreciate it. It was awesome because everybody had been asking me to do VPNs, and I feel like I would have given them a lot of weird information because I didn't know a lot of what you're saying. But what you're saying makes sense, you know, and I obviously accept your expertise. So.
Well, thanks for having me on. If there's any follow-up questions, I'm also in the Discord as well. So
yeah, if you want
hit me
to,
up
if you want to anything there, we have that whole category that's Tech Talk. You can go in there and just hit up Dan and Tech Talk. You can probably add him in No Diggity too. So yeah, all right. Well, thanks
No
so
Diggity
much, buddy.
1. Yep. Thanks so much.
All right, that was No Diggity 1. Tovar, did you learn a lot?
Not that I already knew that having wired line would and a good connection would give you a little bit more. But yeah, I think I'm like you. Like I was kind of like convinced that VPNs didn't give you a whole lot of protection because I've seen stuff on it before.
Right.
But learning that, you know, it's just to kind of keep the kids out makes sense.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
JBTV said, if I bought a 3D printer, could I print more 3D printers? I don't know. Could be.
You know what I like about the old laptop idea is that, like, parts to upgrade those things are really cheap. Like, you can get video cards, RAM for them. You can make a pretty fast laptop in an old case.
Yeah, that's fair. All right. We have informative folks in the TwitchTok ranks. We do. That's true. Canoe. All right. Tovar, tell people where to, or you don't do your shows anymore, so never mind.
Yeah, I'm not doing shows. I'm just hanging out on the water.
You can find him in the water on an inflatable kayak. Perfect. All right. One more time. You staying on for more Guar videos? Not today. I got shit I got to do today. But thank you guys so much. Thanks to Tovar. Thanks to Dan. Thanks to everybody for donating and getting us through a hype train. That was super cool, right? Let's see. Now that. Boom. Yeah, we'll see you tomorrow. We do this every Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. So we will see you tomorrow. I don't know what tomorrow's show topic's going to be or whatever, but, you know, we'll figure it out. We'll make it something weird and something fun, probably. I mean, it's what we fucking do. All right. You guys have been awesome. Thanks so much for listening. We're going to go over into the end phase now. End phase. Don't forget to donate if you can. Don't forget to go over to Venmo. That helps. And don't forget, if you want to join in on the show, go into Discord. Yeah, maybe tomorrow we'll do Trump talk. I had some Trump stuff lined up today, but we didn't get to it. And then you can follow me across all the social medias. Don't forget to count the number of canoe ads. Yeah, pay attention to canoes, guys. Water sports, canoes, boats, canoes. Otherwise, like, that's, I mean, it's kind of weird, but here we are. All right. You guys have been awesome. We will see you tomorrow, 10 a.m. Thanks again to everybody. We out. Goodbye.